Camel, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been, Camel? How you been, bro? Been studying real estate market in Dubai all day. Okay, let's go. Messi, good to see you. How you doing? Jason, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. Comatose, good to see you as well. Hello, Miles and CMF. Let's go, Comatose. Let's go, Jason. Joe, good to see you. How you doing? Evening, Miles and CMF. Let's go. Dennis, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? How's everyone doing today? How's everyone's Monday? Good, bad, or just starting out, depending on where you are around the world. Sorry. Mike, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? There we go. Trying to learn more about off-plan property markets. Okay. Joe's, hi Miles and family, good to see you as well. Joe's, how you doing? How you been? Okay, by the time everyone tunes in, so everyone's tuning in one by one, but by the time everyone tunes in, I'll do a gist of what we're going to be talking about tonight's live show. So we do have quite a bit of a mixture of news to go through. The first part of the live show, we are going to be talking about Solana, which is a topic that we never cover rarely. But some major votings have went on essentially in Solana, and it could be related to the recent bulk sell that happened with essentially FTX selling off quite a lot of Solana in their auctioning situations. And then now we've had this Solana vote going on as well. So we go through that. And then we're going to be talking about Binance, because Binance has just sold off essentially a part of their firm that was connected to Genesis. And they could have taken on some losses on that scenario. We'll go through it bit by bit. Then we're going to talk about Bitcoin and how it can outperform gold by at least double for the rest of the market cycle, according to Glassnode's founder. And then we're going to be talking about JP Morgan's analyst, Nicholas, and his perspectives on other ETFs coming inside the market space. Then we're going to be talking about Argentina and essentially El Salvador and how their adaptation towards cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is expanding quite a lot and quite rapidly as well. And we're going to go through the data points and who's involved and how far they've gotten so far and where they're going to end up, essentially. Then we're going to be talking about the critical statements by Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor made some recently another speech on how the ETF market space in general is going to be moving forward. So he isn't just, talking about, Bitcoin is the only one anymore, obviously. He's talking about a mixture of cryptocurrencies, and whoever essentially gets green lighted for an ETF, what asset class they're going to be in for the rest of eternity, let's say. Then we're going to be talking about SoftBank and how SoftBank has essentially invested into a AI model. And SoftBank has invested quite a lot of billions into this AI model. Then we're going to be talking about, on tonight's live show, regarding the blockchain dev Sapphire and how they've introduced a wallet to Telegram. Telegram is about to have an extension of a crypto wallet, a wallet that connects straight to your bank account and to your Telegram account. A cryptocurrency wallet on Telegram. That's also coming out, which is great for Ton as well. And then we're going to be talking about Vanguard on tonight's live show as well. Vanguard, essentially how they've always been criticizing cryptocurrencies and criticizing Bitcoin's performance and everything else. Vanguard has actually applied for a special requirement license with the SEC. Well, essentially they applied for a document which would give them a green light to a special kind of crypto fund. And this is Vanguard, the same, essentially corporation that goes around and says they're not interested in cryptocurrencies, but they're applying for some sort of licensing with the SEC. Then we're going to be going essentially talking about through Hong Kong and how Hong Kong is getting ready on mortgages regarding CBDC payments. And essentially the banks that are involved in Hong Kong doing mortgages on CBDC payments, some of those banks involved are Ripple Partners. Then we're going to be talking about Van Eck on tonight's live show as well, and how Van Eck's Gerber Gerbers essentially advocates for Bitcoin reserve plans for the United States. not just the United States, but other jurisdictions around the world as well. So we're going to talk about Vanguard, Hong Kong, Argentina, El Salvador on tonight's live show. Then we're going to talk about SoftBank and their AI plans. Then we're going to be talking about Solana. We're going to go through as well. Michael Saylor's speech as well regarding his recent speech he just made and how the market will play out. And then Nicholas, JP Morgan's analyst, is also quite a mixture of news to go through on tonight's live show. But before we go through any of that, let's go inside the comment section. I think everyone's tuned in one by one now. By the way, thank you so much to everyone that's been retweeting the live show as well. I'm getting notifications for all the retweets that's happening. Thank you so much to everyone. So before we go through any of that news, let's go into the comment section. And then I'll say the intro and the disclaimer, and then we go right into it. By that time, everyone's probably tuned in for the first part of the news. Hi, Miles and family. Joes, let's go. How you doing? Good evening, Professor Miles and the rest of the family. Funky brother, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hey, Miles, how you doing? I'm doing great, Daniel. Good to see you as well. How you been? How have you been, brother? I've been doing good. Good evening, Miles and all CMF. JP, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, Miles and family. M, good to see you as well. How you doing? Emon, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Miles and all CMF. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing great. How you doing? Michael Saylor's words are not gospel anymore. He's now 75% correct. Yeah. I did say that as well when he did mention regarding Bitcoin ETFs. I said he's a bit blindsided on that topic, but he's still an intelligent man. Evening, Miles and CMF. Pierce, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Miles and family. Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? Coin, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So, welcome to the CMF Live Show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF Live Show. We talk about cryptocurrencies, what's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, and how the world is shifting into a digital era. We talk about CBDCs, AI, cryptocurrencies, anything that's launching regarding regulations as well, politics as well, because it all plays in together. And the disclaimer of this live show is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. And we also do Q&As, which means you ask the questions inside the comment section and I give you the answers. So the live show has officially started now. And the first news we're going to be going through is regarding Solana. What's up, Miles? What's up, CMF? Kerry, good to see you as well. How you doing? Billo, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? Denise, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Had a bad day at work. I hate Tesco so much. Talk, don't worry about it. It will pass. Stormy, good to see you as well. Stormy, how you doing? Perfect timing, Stormy. And Tor, don't worry about it. Good days are ahead. Now, the first, Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hi, Miles and family. Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? And by the way, thanks so much to everyone that's been retweeting the live show. I'm still getting notifications on X. Thanks so much to everyone that's been retweeting the live show on X as well. So, first news on tonight's live show is regarding Solana, which is a crypto project that we don't rarely cover on this live show because the news that typically comes from Solana, it's either a very rare ETF type of news or it's just meme coins. Hence why we don't cover it because it's not major news. But this one seems it could be because it's a vote that happened on Solana. Hi, Miles and family. Let's go. Hello, Miles and CMF. Urban, good to see you as well. How you doing? Shelly, thank you so much for reposting the live shows on X. So, very controversial vote, a very controversial vote passed in Solana. Now, crypto projects technically do votes, or the validators do. Essentially, the validators, the nodes, essentially, they essentially carry the votes out and vote out what should and should be accepted on, what shouldn't and should be accepted on Solana. And this time around, they did a very interesting vote, which is to burn less Solana and earn more money. And a significant change, and this could have some relevance to a recent auction of Solana that happened. So recently, obviously, FTX was able to sell off roughly $2 billion worth of Solana, essentially on an auction. And two major corporations brought out pretty much every single one of those Solanas at a much more discounted price, which we discussed on this live show. And which essentially means that quite a bit of corporations own quite a lot of Solana, which entitles them to a voice. So let's get into this. In a significant change from its precedent, Solana has adapted a proposal known as SIMD 0096 that would allow the eternity of priority fees to be allocated to network validators. This decision marks a departure from the previous model where fees were split 50-50, running burning and rewarding validators. So before in the past, Solana was running on a 50-50 basis, which is what typically most crypto projects run on regarding 50-50. 50% goes to the rewards for the validators carrying out the network procedures, and then the rest will be burned off. But things are about to change. The final vote resulted in 77% of votes in favor of the proposal, indicating strong support from validators. This change aims to increase rewards for validators, the nodes responsible for reliability and performance of the network, which means Solana is not going to be burning as much tokens at all. In a statement made by Solana Labs co-founder, it was stated that this update can enable staking pools, essentially with programmabilities, frozen tokens, to obtain all tip and priority fees. However, it will take several months for this new allocation model to be adapted, as it is not available in the current version of Solana's mainnet beta version of the software. Later versions, such as the 1.17 and 1.18, will include this feature, as well as other improvements, such as SIMD 0123 proposal to further optimize block reward distributions. Priority fees on the Solana network are charged by users who want their transactions processed faster, especially during peak hours. Validators prioritize these transactions to ensure the smooth functioning of the network. Previously, 50% of those fees were burned, which some felt had a differential effect on Solana's token, which means, tokens burn away, less tokens in circulation, better for Solana all around moving forward. However, now they're going to be burning a lot more less, and the validators are going to get a lot more money. Under the new model, all priority fees will go to under the new model, all of the priority fees will go to the validators, which could increase their revenue, but could also raise concerns about more tokens being created and causing inflation. So Solana obviously has had major issues with 11 breakdowns so far. Last one, being 5 hours. This is not good for Solana in the long run, and it has been voted, so which means it is going to be happening. So one validator expressed his opinion on the Solana token expansion issue and its connection to inflation, predicting a 4.6% increase in token inflation. So apparently Solana is about to go through some inflation structures once this gets implemented. So it looks like greed has got to Solana. The Solana validators have chosen the option of greed instead of the option of what's better for Solana's chain. Now, the reason why I say this could circle back to the recent, essentially auction that went on with Solana regarding FTX, where FTX sold off about roughly $2 billion worth of Solana in an auction, or $1 billion roughly, $1 billion plus to corporations, which means quite a lot of corporations, two of them most likely, have quite a lot of Solana to play around with. And then now we're getting this new vote getting passed by validators where greed has started to kick in on the Solana side. Now, is this greed from the retail section that are running nodes on Solana, or is this corporation greed? To me, it smells like corporation greed, which means it's going to put Solana in an inflation situation. So let's see how Solana copes moving forward. Hopefully it copes good and everybody makes a lot of money on Solana, but it could also go the other way on Solana's network. Binance is the next news we're going to be talking about tonight's live show. Binance sells GoPax's Genesis asset rights at a steep discount, leading to a significant loss. Binance today made a significant loss. Now, they sold off a part of their essentially company, let's say, that was a part of Genesis. And Genesis recently went in a court battle and lost, not with Binance, but in New York. And they lost roughly $2 billion or $1 billion and $3 billion was 3 cases of a massive loss. So obviously Binance wants to get rid of their losses that's attached to Genesis as well, which means Binance also took a loss today. But they're very silent about it. We're going to go through that on tonight's live show as well. But before we go through that, let me go inside the comment section. What had ACH pumped today, Miles? What had ACH pumped today, Miles? What was the price of ACH? Is that what you're asking, Prius? Even Miles and CMF, Semper, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hi, Miles. What do you think about Atom during the bull run? Will it do well, i.e. high price points? Regarding Atom doing high price points, yeah, I can see that happening. Atom is definitely a project that's going to be sticking around. I don't see it as a project of a pump and dump situation, any sort of way. Atom has always been a legitimate project. It's, they've been doing quite a lot of developments as well in the past, and still have been doing quite a lot of developments. It's a legitimate project, and at one possible time, it could be sitting at a very nice price point, even in the bull run. Hello, greetings. I brought Turbo today. What do you think about it? Regarding Turbo, if I'm not mistaken, it's a meme coin that was produced by someone that had a budget of $69. So Torbo has a funny story. There was a guy that had $69. He went to ChatGPT and he said, "Can you create me a token?" And I only have $69 as a budget. So ChatGPT helped this man create a token, and then he posted the step by step of how he did it on X, and then Torbo became Turbo. So I personally wouldn't risk it. It's a very high risk reward type of situation regarding Turbo. It was built by ChatGPT on a budget of $69. Yes, obviously now it's not sitting on $69. But high risk, high reward is what I would say regarding Turbo. So I hope you make a lot of money. Obviously not financial advice, and also high risk, high reward, which means either sky high or absolutely nothing. Miles, is it a good time to buy Solana? Is it a good time to buy Solana? I mean, if it's at a low price point and you want to go for it, why not? Or you can wait for this inflation situation to happen on Solana. Because that's about to be passed. It's already passed. It's about to be implemented in 1 month or 2 months. That new feature is going to be passed on. It's going to be added onto Solana, which means Solana is going to go through an inflation type of situation, which possibly could bring the price down a little bit. Let's see. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Free and forever. Good to see you. How you doing? But if you want to go for it and you think Solana's at a good price point, why not? No, ACH had a small pump today. Just wondering what caused any news. No news regarding ACH. No such major news regarding ACH as far as I'm aware of. But still genuine project. Atom or Neil, what would you invest into first if you had to go based on the bull run price points? Atom or Neil? Neil. I would go for Neil, definitely. But Atom still amazing project. Brought some Brett and Pep and Pong. You're basing your entire portfolio on high risk assets, is what you're doing. So Brett high risk, Pepe high risk, Pong high risk. It's a high risk, high reward. It's either sky high or absolutely nothing, is what it is. Good luck. Now, Binance. Binance sells GoPox's Genesis asset rights to a steep discount, leading to significant losses. Binance, the largest shareholder of the South Korean cryptocurrency exchange GoPax, sold the asset and claims of GoPax victims essentially at a less than half of their face values. This sale has led to a substantial financial losses for investors and contradicts Binance's earlier promises to fully compensate victims of the virtual asset deposit service GoFi. There was a project that also went south as well. Binance has decided to cut their losses. Now, because of this situation, at the end of this article, we're going to get to a part where they're being investigated again, Binance. Initial promises and unexpected actions concerning GoPax victims' asset claims. When Binance acquired a majority stake, essentially in GoPax, it committed to compensating investors for approximately around $52 million Binance was going to be paying out, lost due to spending fund withdrawals and the GoFi essentially services. Instead of using its funds to cover these losses, Binance sold the victims' assets claims at an extremely discounted rates. So Binance decided to cut their losses with their victims of the GoFi situation. Following the sale, the price of major cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, surged, further increasing the financial gap. The debt to GoFi has now increased to an estimated $75 million. This is also a reason why Bitcoin was pumping today as well, including existing repayments as well. An anonymous source familiar with the transaction disclosed to the local news agency, Hank Yong, that Binance offloaded the claims as a part of its strategy to manage GoPax's liabilities. This is what he said. Binance initially promised to cover GoPax victims' funds with its Industrial Recovery Fund. Now, if you don't know what Binance's Industrial Recovery Fund is, the IRI, it's basically Binance has created this fund that will pay you out in case there's a compromisation or a hack on a particular project that you're holding. Binance will pay you out from their own fund. It's a security fund. But this didn't go to plan, apparently, and Binance decided to bail and not pay anyone out, or pay some out. But the IRI was only used to pay the first damage, which was about 15 billion won, which in dollars is not that much. From the second part onwards, the source said, we paid with Bitcoin obtained by selling the Genesis claim at a low price to a third party. We are now delaying the payment of the remaining 50% of the damages, saying we will pay it after the GoPax acquisition is completed. investor disconnect, and regulatory scrutiny. Notably, Genesis, the virtual asset deposit service associated with GoPax, had its bankruptcy compensation plan approved by the US courts last week. Genesis has committed to returning 77% of the approximately $3 billion in bonds and funds to creditors. In contrast, Gemini, another cryptocurrency exchange with funds tied up in Genesis, announced plans to compensate 97% of the affected customers using bankruptcy compensation. GoPax, however, has not made any official statements regarding its compensation plans or the sale of Genesis asset claims. GoPax is a part of Binance. GoPax's board of directors, which includes Binance representatives, have been accused of withholding information regarding the source of funds used to compensate the second batch of victims last August. The scarcity and the 50% discount at which the Genesis claims were sold have fueled investor frustration and distrust in Binance. The Financial Services Commission, the FSC of South Korea, is reviewing GoPax executives' change report, including appointing Binance personnel as directors. The FSC has also requested additional information from Binance regarding the allegations of money laundering and other concerns. Apparently, Binance is now being investigated for money laundering in South Korea. So, similar case happened inside the United States where the CFTC got $4 billion out of Binance for this scenario of the licensing issues and the AML issues. South Korea's government, essentially, or South Korea's essentially the Financial Services Commission, is now investigating Binance for money laundering. And because Binance apparently didn't show their source of funds, and because in a very simple term, Binance has been a part of GoPax, and GoPax owes money to a lot of investors. And Binance is a part of the essentially board members. Binance decided to pay a little bit towards the people who lost their money because of the Genesis situation. So Binance pays a little bit of money. Now, the second batch of money that Binance pays to the investors that lost money, Binance didn't apparently provide source of funds, of where these funds came from, the money that they paid back to investors. And for that reason, Binance is now being investigated for money laundering on where did you get your cryptocurrencies from? Which is odd because they have a lot of money and they should be showing it. So yeah, this looks like a very small issue, but could essentially lead into a much more bigger issue with Binance not being able to show their funds, source of funds, on those particular transactions, which is quite a lot. It's in the millions. Now, next news to go through. Bitcoin ready to outperform gold. This was good news. The other one was information news that you should know about, but this was good news. Bitcoin ready to outperform gold by at least double for the rest of the market cycle, Now, who's this perspective coming from? Well, this perspective is coming from essentially Glassnode founders. The Glassnode founders have decided to give their perspectives on the market space. We're going to go through that in 1 second, but before we go through it, let's go inside the comment section. ACH, a new partnership. What up, Miles and family? Ray, good to see you. So how you doing? I don't know if ACH had a new partnership. Nothing that came up on my radar today, but maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I'll check it after the live show. I think the Black Swan event is going to be the downfall of Tether and Binance combined. Will it be two platforms that they really did always want to get rid of? Makes sense. And Ray, good to see you, brother. How you doing? Now, they are really out to get Binance, and they really want Coinbase to rule, is what it looks like right now, I'll be honest. Matt, Turbo USD, I brought Turbo at below 1 cent. I'll buy on pullback and a Fibonacci pullback. Okay, well, good luck, Matt. Matt, I hope you make a lot of money. Now, Bitcoin ready to outperform gold by at least double for the rest of the market cycle. Glassnode founders, essentially these are their perspectives. The founders of crypto analyst firm Glassnode are predicting that Bitcoin will vastly outperform gold for the remainder of the current bull cycle. Essentially, they're predicting that Bitcoin is going to be going higher and higher and higher, way above what gold imagines of dreaming of getting to. Apparently, in this entire bull cycle that we are still in, but heavily manipulated. The co-founders of Glassnode, who go by the handle Negatropic on social media platform X, tell their essentially followers that BTC/gold ratio could more than double in the coming months. The BTC/gold ratio, currently at 29, is the value of Bitcoin relative to the price of gold. Opinion: a lot of talk about gold over the last couple of months, but is gold really the asset to be exposed at this point? BTC to gold ratio still suggests that we could see BTC at 65x. The price of gold at the end of this cycle, at the end of this crypto cycle, will essentially, this would imply more than double of the performance of BTC compared to the shiny metal. Pick your favorite. We favor BTC over gold at this point. And they also said, next up, the analyst also suggested that Dogecoin could repeat a pattern seen in the prior two bull markets and sold to $2.52. The analysts use a Fibonacci extension, which are based on Fibonacci ratios and are used in technical analysis to estimate profit targets and essentially price pullbacks. So the founders of Glassnode gave two perspectives. One, that gold is going to be outperforming gold. Sorry, that Bitcoin is going to be outperforming gold in this entire cycle, and that Dogecoin is going to go back to its all-time high and even past its all-time high. Those are two perspectives that came with. Now, that's an interesting way to put it, because normally founders or CEOs or executives typically give, essentially a perspective mainly on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, but they never give a perspective on Bitcoin and Dogecoin. So that was a new one for me. But yeah, regarding Bitcoin outperforming gold, there's always a possibility of something outperforming something else on a massive basis. Also, with Bitcoin still being so new, a lot of people think, well, the money that has entered the crypto space and that's pretty much it. No, day by day, we are getting more institutions and more jurisdictions involved in expansions, which we'll go through on tonight's live show as well, with one major corporation expanding their reach inside the crypto sector and a few jurisdictions expanding their reach inside the crypto sector as well. On tonight's live show, we'll go through it towards the end. But I could see his perspective regarding Bitcoin, essentially overpassing gold, and Dogecoin going to its all-time new high. Now, JP Morgan, those were again essentially the opinions of Glassnode founders. Now, JP Morgan skeptical about SEC approval of Solana and other crypto ETFs. So recently we had Standard Chartered Bank give their perspective. An analyst from Standard Chartered Bank, the British bank, gave his perspective on how he thinks other ETFs are going to be coming about. This analyst from Standard Chartered Bank that we talked about on this live show as well said that essentially Solana and XRP ETFs are on the way next. That was his perspective, and he went on, essentially the details why he thinks that's a possibility. Now, however, we have JP Morgan's analyst, Nicholas. Now, Nicholas has been correct once in the past, but he's been correct on some other matters as well, but the major one, once he was quite right on how the market played out. So JP Morgan's analyst has a different viewpoint, and we'll go through that and some other viewpoints as well. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. The comments piling up. Let's see. Michael Saylor is a dummy. His negative words on he dumped the price a bit. I'm sure he scooped up tons of it. And at the same time, Bitcoin increased in value. All is forgiven now, and MicroStrategy shares will boom, which is true. Yeah, Happy Pisces, good to see you as well. How you doing? Michael Saylor. I mean, I've said, when Michael Saylor made that speech that Bitcoin ETFs is the only ETFs that's ever going to happen, I said Michael Saylor is an intelligent man and a wealthy man, but I said this time around, he's blindsided by the whole idea of Bitcoin only. And I said every asset has a positive and a negative, and I said that particular moment in time, he's wrong, which I was correct, obviously. I had to be. I mean, everyone else, was correct as well that went against him. But he's still an intelligent man, still a wealthy man. But I agree with Happy Pisces regarding the price manipulation Michael Saylor did. I definitely agree with Happy Pisces on, Michael Saylor did create some price manipulation situations at that moment in time when he said Bitcoin's the only ETF, but then Ethereum was next for a green light. I meant his negative words on ETH as well, and his negative words on ETH, yes. But you meant negative words on ETH, not Bitcoin, but also for both. Him essentially saying Bitcoin's the only one. Sorry for being a bit late, George. Let's go. Don't worry about it. How you been? Please click on the YouTube thumbs up to like the live if you're on YouTube, guys, to help Miles to reach more people. Let's go. Yes, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're liking the live show so far, drop a like on YouTube. If you're watching this video on YouTube, if you're watching this live on YouTube, not video, thank you, Shelly, is ultimate price micro strategy. Basically, he's just fixated on BTC. Also, Shelly is correct as well, same as Happy Pisces. He's a bit fixated. And I always tell people, don't be too blindsided, when it comes to crypto assets, I always say to people, stop treating it as if it's a religion or a football team. It's just crypto assets. Don't get blindsided, because when you become blindsided, then you don't realize what else is happening around you inside of this amazing space that we call blockchain, essentially. Now, JP Morgan's skeptical about SEC's approval of Solana and other ETFs. JP Morgan cast a significant doubt on the SEC approving additional cryptocurrency ETFs beyond Ethereum. So first we had Michael Saylor saying that beyond Bitcoin, there's going to be no more ETFs. Now we're getting Nicholas, the analyst from JP Morgan as well, also now saying something similar, but him stating nothing else past Ethereum. Now, I'm going to say it above them that, yes, there is going to be more ETFs. It's not going to stop at Ethereum. If you told someone a long time ago, Bitcoin ETFs, they would have called you crazy. But then we got Bitcoin ETFs. And then people said, no, nothing else is, no more ETFs are coming. Even Michael Saylor said, no more ETFs are coming. I said, no, we're still going to get more ETFs. We got Ethereum ETFs. I'm going to say we're going to go beyond Ethereum ETFs as well. It's not going to just stop at Ethereum ETFs. And due to the concerns, now, just to continue on forward with Nicholas said, due to concerns over the classification of most cryptocurrencies as securities. Now, Nicholas made a very bad point here, which is, and by the way, Nicholas is still an intelligent analyst. He's been quite right in the past. Just sometimes analysts do get things wrong as well. Michael Saylor did regarding Bitcoin-only ETFs, and now we have Ethereum ETFs. Nicholas got this part wrong, because Nicholas is saying that other cryptocurrencies don't have a class to be put into. Are they securities or are they not? Ethereum was going through the same situation at the exact same time they were about to be approved. Ethereum was going through the exact same situation regarding, is it a security, is it not a security? And then there was some suings going on, Wells notices regarding Uniswap and Ethereum. And it still got green lighted. So, using that factor of due to concerns over the classification of most cryptocurrencies as securities, we didn't know what essentially Ethereum was while it was being approved for an ETF. So that can apply to any cryptocurrencies and Ethereum. JP Morgan's managing director and global market strategist, Nicholas, expressed skepticism regarding the SEC's willingness to approve ETFs for cryptocurrencies like Solana and others. The block reported. He said that the SEC's decision to approve Ethereum ETFs was already a stretch due to ongoing, essentially, about the Ethereum's classification as a security. His comments came in the wake of the SEC's approval of spot Ethereum ETFs last week. At an event seen as a politically motivated by some analysts, the SEC approved the 19B4 forms from various essentially applicants, such as Grayscale, ETH, Bitwise, BlackRock, VanEck, ARC21 Shares, Invesco, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, in a sweeping order. Despite this progress, the actual trading of these ETFs is still essentially contingent on the SEC's final sign-off on the S1 registrations anticipated to occur in the coming weeks. Now, Nicholas emphasizes that unless US policymakers enact legislation to clarify that most cryptocurrencies are not securities, the prospects of a new crypto ETFs remain bleak. I would have to say otherwise. It doesn't remain bleak in any sort of a way. And again, we didn't know what Ethereum was while it was getting approved for essentially in ETF. And let me just put it to you like this. The whole factor about, is this a security? Is this not a security? Do you know what trumps essentially this whole fact? And by Trump, I don't mean President Trump. I mean the word actually trumps, like what goes above it. Do you know the factor of essentially, is this a security? Is this not a security? It doesn't really matter. Do you know what goes above that? Politics. Because the SEC was going to most likely decline or postpone the ETH ETF verdict. But because of the 21 Act situation, and because of Congress, everyone pretty much voting against the SEC, voting against Gary Gensler for being incompetent and giving power to the CFTC at the same time, Gary Gensler had this political pressure to approve the Ethereum ETFs. He genuinely went through a political pressure to approve the Ethereum ETFs. Do you know how? Because he was not responding to any of the ETF, essentially, applicants. All of a sudden, the vote was passed, and then Gary Gensler started, well, the SEC started contacting all of these Ethereum ETF applicants and telling them to essentially hurry up regarding their filings. The SEC has never told anyone hurry up regarding your ETF filings. It's more like postpone, decline, go to a judge, win the case or appeal against it, and then approve the ETFs. But because of political pressure, Gary Gensler had to turn the other way and approve it quick. Because he knows his time's going to be up soon. So what goes above this whole ideology of, is Solana a security, is Ethereum a security, is XRP a security? Do you know what goes above all of that? Politics. Which I've always said is above everything. Politics plays into every aspect of the market space. Now, some analysts hold a more optimistic view. Standard Chartered's Bank, Jeffrey Kendrick, anticipates the approval of Solana and XRP ETFs. ETFs by 2025, while TD Cowen's Jarrett Seibing, now this is some multiple perspectives from TD Cowen, from Standard Chartered Bank, from Nicholas, JP Morgan, a lot of perspectives from different analysts, from high-profile players. And while TD Cowen's Jarrett Seibing suggests the possibility of a basket of crypto tokens and ETFs within a year. So everybody's heard about Standard Chartered Bank talking about Solana ETFs and XRP ETFs in 2025. And then now we also have essentially JP Morgan's analyst Nicholas saying, he doesn't see more ETFs coming out because we don't know what's a security. We still don't even know if Ethereum is a security, even though it has an ETF, to put it in perspective. But now we also have another perspective as well, which was TD Cowen's essentially perspective. Their analyst essentially said that there's going to be a basket of crypto ETFs, this year. Interestingly. So, Standard Chartered Bank thinks next year, XRP and Solana ETFs. JP Morgan's analyst says not possible. TD Cowen's bank essentially says a basket of crypto ETFs this year. ETFs by 20. So the analysts have speculated whether other cryptocurrencies like Solana or Dogecoin could even be next in line for ETF approvals. Some analysts have predicted that Solana might find it challenging to outperform Ethereum following the latters of ETF approvals. With the House of Representatives recently passing the Financial Innovation and Technology for 21st Century Act, the FIT21, dubbed the crypto bill, industry experts essentially anticipate a more accommodating regulatory backdrop for cryptocurrencies in the near future. Whether that will translate into further cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds remains to be seen, which it does. It's political pressure. What is essentially happening right now inside the crypto sector is political pressure. That's what's driving the market right now, is political pressure. That's also what's driving Gary Gensler right now as well, political pressure. It's the reason why he was doing things in real time, according to Bloomberg analyst. Now, the next news to also go through on tonight's live show is Argentina and El Salvador. Argentina and El Salvador are right now going through some major changes within their country. Latin America in general is going through some major changes regarding cryptocurrencies, regarding regulations, regarding the adoption rate of what's happening. Their governments are heavily involved in crypto transactions and bringing that type of crypto hub to Latin America. So Argentina and El Salvador is what we're going to go next regarding their embracing strategy and what they've done so far and in the past and now. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. If you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. Be more than happy to help you out. Nicola is talking through his backside this time around. My father always taught me that if you don't have anything nice to say, then keep your mouth shut, is what your father told you, Funky Brother. He's a good man. Hello, CMF. How's everyone? Has everyone had a good day? Scott, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? A week ago, it was not going to happen. Then politics gets involved, and a week later, it's approved. Unbelievably, how quickly it happened, considering there had been no going back and forth like BTC ETF priors, which is facts. Essentially, what Shelley has said is facts. And I've always said politics. It's all about politics. Anything to do with inside the crypto, anything to do with any sort of market spaces, stock market, crypto market, real estate market, any market space. It's all about politics. Because for a second there, it didn't matter to Gary Gensler if Ethereum was a security or a commodity or an asset or whatever it was ranked at. The politics pressure got to Gary Gensler, and the Ethereum ETFs were approved like this. And how do we know like this? Again, from the Bloomberg analyst is how we know. Politics trumps everything. XRP equals banksters. I can't say that word. A mystery shopper. Don't say that word inside the comment section. The second word that you use, don't use that word inside the comment section. But also a mystery shopper. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. Everybody is entitled to an opinion. But opinions are not correct. And facts are facts. Always stick to the facts. Hello, Miles. How are your parents? How are you doing today? How's business going? It's going well. My business is going very well. Thanks so much for asking, Scott. My family's doing well as well. How you been, Scott? I'm doing okay. Remembering soldiers I served with today. Oh, okay, Scott. Sorry about that. We'll wait till they lower the interest rates and switch on the printing machines, which is also a good point. Wait. If ETH can go from $1 to $4,000 in a few years, why can't XRP go to $10,000 by 2030? Anything's possible inside the market space. Anything is possible. With the right amount of adoption, anything's possible. If you told anybody, when Bitcoin was sitting at a much more lower price, if you told anybody Bitcoin is going to one day go to $60,000 or $70,000 and be adapted by BlackRock and Fidelity, essentially, or Wisdom Tree or Franklin Templeton, people would have called you absolutely crazy and nuts back in the day. But fast forward to today, we have 937 corporations inside of BTC ETFs. We have a BTC ETF, first of all. Fast forward today, we have a BTC ETF. Second, we have 937 corporations into BTC ETFs, according to the 13F filings in the SEC. Not only that, we also have Hong Kong's Bitcoin ETFs going on as well. South Korea's coming with Bitcoin ETFs. Japan's going to be launching. India's got Bitcoin ETFs going. Brazil's. If you told any of these things, back then to people, Bitcoin one day will be adapted by BlackRock, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, 937 corporations, they would have said, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. They would have said to you, first of all, it will never get to a price point of $100. And second of all, BlackRock will never invest into Bitcoin. Well, times have changed. Anything's possible. Don't ever think, when it comes to the market and when it comes to money, don't put limitations. Do you know why? Because money has no limitations. So always remember that. When it comes to the adoption rate, anything's possible on any crypto asset. Never put limitations on money, because money itself doesn't have limitations. They print it out of thin air and they back it with anything and they pour it into anything. So never put limitations on money. Never. Don't ever think, it'll get to a certain point and just stop. Because it never does. Look at the inflation rate. Did North Korea fire missiles in Japan? Apparently they were trying to send a satellite that went south. What can Link do during a bull season? Link can do wonders during a bull season and beyond a bull season, to be fairly honest. Link can do absolutely amazing even beyond the bull season type of position, because remember, utility is the main part of cryptocurrencies. So actually going into utility purposes with all the corporations and regulations in place and the banks, Chainlink will do absolutely amazing in the utility phase as well. So beyond that, Miles, would you please read my comment about where it starts and says no, no, no? You misread my comment about Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor. Let me see. Your comment about Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is no dummy. His negative words is no. He's no dummy. As in other words, he's not a stupid man. His negative words on he dumped the price a bit. In other words, he manipulated the price. I'm sure he scooped up tons of other assets on that moment in time. And at that same time, Bitcoin increased in value. All is forgiven now, and MicroStrategy shares will boom. Him boosting his own MicroStrategy shares. Yeah. Is that what you meant? As in, you said he's not a man playing dumb. He actually did a smart movement inside the market space by manipulating it and boosting his own company shares as well and picking up some more assets. How well can ZIL, XDC, and TON do during the bull market? ZIL could do okay for itself. It could do okay. XDC will do better in terms of utility and obviously the second run. TON will do quite well for itself in terms of utility. So XDC and TON will do incredibly well compared to ZIL. ZIL will do okay, but XDC will do better in the long run, and TON will do better in the long run as well. And also on the topic of TON, we have crypto news to go through regarding TON as well on tonight's live show. Some major things are happening on Telegram. Telegram is, day by day shifting into this everything app. X is going to be the everything app of the West. But Telegram also wants to become an everything type of app as well. And they're picking up a lot more speed. Let's just be honest. A lot more speed. So adapting a cryptocurrency already to themselves, a cryptocurrency they developed a long time ago and then dropped because of an SEC case and then picked it back up as a partnership. But Telegram, connecting 900 million users with TON, creating wallets, which we're going to go through right now as well. Not now, but at the end of the live show as well. But quite a lot of things are happening on Telegram. We'll get to that news as well. So the news that we're going to go through right now is regarding Argentina, El Salvador, what they've done so far, embracing cryptocurrencies, Latin America in general, and going beyond. There's a lot of things happening in Latin America regarding cryptocurrency adoption. Argentina, crypto evolution, embracing El Salvador's strategy. Argentina's National Securities Commission, CNV, has teamed up with El Salvador National Commission of Digital Assets, CNAD, to delve into Bitcoin adoption and crypto regulation. This comes after a crucial meeting, essentially between regulators from Argentina and El Salvador, which focused on El Salvador's innovative steps in incorporating Bitcoin into its financial framework. Now, just to go in the past, in 2021, El Salvador made a historic move recognizing Bitcoin as a legal tender alongside the US dollar. El Salvador is essentially their crypto role model for Argentina. In the meeting, the high-ranking CNV officials, including President Roberto and Vice President Patricia, highlighted Argentina's proactive stance in learning and praised El Salvador's progress in forming cooperation agreements. So everybody in Latin America essentially is in favor of what El Salvador has done so far for their country of, adapting blockchain technology and adapting Bitcoin. While discussing El Salvador's bold movement to boost international investments and incentives, Bido, the emphasis, the importance of tapping into the country's expertise in the crypto industry. Yet, Juan Carlos Reyes, president of the National Digital Asset Commission, CNAD, of El Salvador, praised Argentina's tech powers. They discussed optimal ways to grasp and efficiently use cryptocurrency concepts in global economics. Argentina's crypto dilemma. In contrast to Argentina's proactive stance, in 2023, the central bank of BCRA prohibited payment providers from allowing crypto transactions to mitigate the region's financial risks tied to digital assets. In pursuit of economic integration, Argentina was in talks with Brazil for the development of a common currency. By the way, Brazil also has a CBDC that they're in progress of making as well. That's called Drex. Last year, the CoinRise media reported on the Sergio Massa, the Minister of Economy, proposed the adoption of a central bank digital currency CBDC to bolster the country's economy. However, given the persistent devaluation of the Argentinian pesos, the country ultimately turned to Bitcoin to protect its savings. This occurred even as WorldCoin, a crypto initiative known for its orb identification services, gained notable popularity in the country. El Salvador surfed the Bitcoin wave to success. Every single Latin American country right now is essentially looking at El Salvador and going, we could pretty much follow their blueprint that they've left behind. Ever since El Salvador made the pioneering move to adapt Bitcoin as its legal currency, it has achieved several milestones in the crypto industry. Its openness regarding its Bitcoin holdings has gathered substantial praise from the cryptocurrency community. The government has provided the public with access to Bitcoin investment data through a personalized mempool, ensuring transparency in its cryptocurrency holdings, which is something that everybody wants, a transparent government, which will never happen for the majority of our countries. I mean, the UK will never be transparent about their money spendings on tax. Where does our tax money go? The UK will never be transparent about that. America, forget about it. It's never going to be transparent about anybody's tax dollars. Canada is the same situation, and the majority of the Western countries is never going to happen. So it is genuinely the first ever country to be fully transparent on regarding their savings. And the discussion, in the post, the Bitcoin Office, a government-owned organization in charge of supervising Bitcoin's related essentially initiatives, shared this update. In a major update, the president of El Salvador announced the plan to shift a large part of the nation's Bitcoin reserves to a cold wallet. This decision is coupled with the creation of physical vaults within the country's borders to protect the cold wallet securely. The president has made significant progress in the crypto sector for his nation, even amidst criticism from El Salvadorians and being scrutinized by Bloomberg reporters regarding the country's adoption of Bitcoin. By Bloomberg, they actually mean essentially the Wall Street Journal, not Bloomberg, because Bloomberg hasn't been against them in any sort of way. It's Wall Street that's been against cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in general. But it seems to me, from the meetings that they're having regarding El Salvador and Argentina and other Latin American countries regarding Brazil and so on, El Salvador is leaving a blueprint for the rest of the Latin American countries to follow in suit, which I think is great. Honestly, a lot of these countries will do a lot more better because a lot of these countries, not just in Latin America, but quite a lot of countries, even beyond Latin America, have crazy inflation issues going on, and where their country's currency is extremely devalued. It's because of their governments being incompetent. So cryptocurrencies adapting to Bitcoin or adapting to a set of cryptocurrencies can help them save their country and beyond. And again, this goes beyond Latin America. It's not just Latin America that's having massive devaluation issues on their currency. I'm Persian myself. I mean, Iran's currency is, is genuinely equivalent to toilet paper. Iran's currency, it's nothing. If Iran continues like this, their currency will be useful for making paper airplanes or, making them into something like origami. Do you know when people make paper airplanes or make frogs with paper money? That's what Iran's currency is pretty much worth right now. So again, it goes beyond Latin America regarding the currencies being absolutely the equivalent to toilet paper. But what they're doing is absolutely amazing. Adapting Bitcoin or adapting Ethereum or adapting any sort of cryptocurrencies, XRP, Solana, whatever they want to go for, and making it legal tender. It actually will help their economy a lot more better. And the transparency part, absolutely amazing. Governments being transparent on their savings, people's tax money being spent, where it's being spent, that should be a given for everyone. Now, critical statements by Michael Saylor. It has become clear that Bitcoin is a $10 to $100 trillion asset. So according to Michael Saylor, the moment any crypto asset, gets a ETF approval, according to him, essentially is going to be en route to becoming a 10 or $100 trillion currency. An asset, sorry. So according to Michael Saylor, if you get a ETF, Bitcoin is already done, Ethereum ETF is on the way, and any other ETFs, if you enter the class of essentially ETFs, you're on your way to becoming a 10 or $100 trillion asset. According to Michael Saylor. We'll go through that right now as well, but before we go through it, let's go inside the comment section. So, happy biases, yep, that was a good one. No problem. I have some USDT. Is it safe having some after what Brad said about USDT and Black Swan? Yeah, I still use USDT. I mean, I think there's still time for it. And I don't think they're going to be collapsing the market with USDT. I don't think they're going to be doing that in any sort of way. I think I would rather see, I think personally they would phase out USDT rather than make it collapse. But you never know with governments. I bet that Michael Saylor, but I still use USDT. I bet that Michael Saylor's office, there is a dartboard with Gary Gensler's picture on it. I think Gary took advantage of Michael's words about Ethereum prediction to make Gary look good for once for 5 minutes, which is probably true. Yeah. Birdcage liner, Iran's currency. Yeah, I mean, Iran's currency is honestly, toilet paper is more useful than Iran's currency. Now, and I can say that because I'm Persian. So, critical statements by Michael Saylor. It has become clear that Bitcoin is a 10 to $100 trillion asset because of their ETF and anything that gets an ETF. So, MicroStrategy's CEO, Michael Saylor, declared the approval of Bitcoin ETFs a pivotal moment for BTC, solidifying its position as an important asset class. In a recent episode of What Bitcoin Did podcast, Michael Saylor said, the most important thing that happened in this adventure was the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. This means that Bitcoin is not a multi-$100 billion asset class. It means that Bitcoin is not a multi-$100 billion asset class, according to Michael Saylor, because instead Bitcoin is a 10 to $100 trillion asset class because of the ETFs. It was about crossing that line that says there is a asset class. In other words, it goes from crypto, which it seems like a joke inside the corporate sector, to an ETF, which becomes a mature asset that the corporate sector will go, this is something we can go for. And that's where it crosses the line from a $1 billion asset when it's sitting in crypto to a $1 trillion asset and beyond, $10 trillion asset or $100 trillion is what he's saying, when it goes into an ETF. Not just for Bitcoin, any asset pretty much going into ETFs. It makes them look like a mature asset that corporations can invest into. And this entire thing is about obviously, connecting the traditional finance space to the digital financial space, because the traditional finance space hold all of the money and it's coordinated money. It's the reason also Bitcoin reached new heights, not because of the retail section, in March times. Now, despite supporting, because the evidence is there to prove it, despite supporting the approvals of Saylor's criticism, the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, for its general approach towards cryptocurrency, he accused the SEC of being contradictory towards the entire crypto industry by filing lawsuits against crypto exchanges and entrepreneurs. So this is a different take regarding Michael Saylor. In the past, Michael Saylor was Bitcoin focused only. And since the ETF approvals regarding Ethereum, he's decided to, expand on his knowledge, which I said he should be doing. He's still, Michael Saylor is still an incredibly intelligent person and incredibly wealthy, not taking that away from any sort of a way. I've always, respect his opinion because he holds weight regarding his opinion. But obviously, I know where to draw the line when somebody's too blindsided. And at one point, Michael Saylor did become too blindsided and too fixated on Bitcoin, which was wrong for him to do. But he realized his mistake when the Ethereum ETF came out. And I said the Ethereum ETFs, essentially will be popping off as well, and more ETFs coming out as well. So I was the opposite against him at that moment in time, and I said there's going to be more ETFs while he was really focused on Bitcoin. But now he's widened his range, and he's now understanding that the US SEC essentially is, scrutinizing and wasting everybody's time going after multiple crypto platforms and exchanges. Before, he was only caring about Bitcoin. Now he cares about every crypto asset, which is good. Now, Saylor attributed his criticism to two main factors. First, he claimed that the SEC was delaying the approval of the ETFs as well as the options trading. Second, he noted that the SEC only allows cash refunds rather than in-kind refunds, preventing investors from directly exchanging their bitcoins for shares and ETFs. Which is true, but this positiveness is for the bankers, which you obviously know where Gary Gensler stands. Gary Gensler does not stand with the crypto folks. Obviously, he stands with his best buddies in the banking world. So that's why they don't do a refund type of situation, an in-kind refund, which is people going over to give their bitcoins to get an ETF, essentially. I don't know who would do that, but that's not an option. So both of these things, it's like handing over your gold to the government for them to give you an IOU. It's a very bad move, but he's saying that's not an option. So both of these things make these spot ETFs inferior, he said. Saylor also cited the SEC's Rule 121, which requires banks to include digital assets on their financial statements. He argued that this rule makes it impossible for banks to store Bitcoin. We have achieved minimal adoption of Bitcoin, but these are the logical things. Let banks hold custody, let people hedge it, let them trade BTC for securities. These are normal and ordinary things in all other beings, essentially. These were rejected. That's why we're moving at a very, very slow pace. Saylor also underlined in an interview that cryptocurrencies are increasingly becoming a political issue, which they are. Cryptocurrencies, since day one, were a political issue. He suggested that candidates who are positive towards crypto could gather more votes, which is also true, in the upcoming US election, which is majorly true, yes. Any sort of candidates that are pro-crypto are obviously going to get the votes so far. Sleepy Joe is pro-CBDC, which is boo. And then Trump is essentially pro-cryptocurrencies, which is good. And then, you also have Kennedy as well. Kennedy, he's only pro-Bitcoin, which some might see it as good, I see it as bad. This ideology of being fixated only on Bitcoin and not looking at the rest of the crypto space, the rest of blockchain technology in general and how much it has to offer is dumb. Anybody that just looks at cryptocurrencies and goes Bitcoin only is dumb, because blockchain has so much to offer regarding smart contracts, regarding tokenizations, regarding everything becoming digital. There's so much to offer on blockchain, and too many people are just fixated on Bitcoin. And Kennedy is one of them, which means it's a bad choice, because Bitcoin barely can do transactions. Barely. It's expensive as well and slow. And as I said previously, every crypto asset pretty much has a positive and a negative. Bitcoin's is slow and expensive. Its positive is that it's much more adapted into the financial system compared to other assets on paper. Not on paper, but in the eye, let's say as well. On paper and in the eye. It has that advantage of being first, essentially. But two things he made, amazing points. One, when a crypto asset passes the line from a crypto asset to an ETF, it makes it, go into that category of a mature asset. Good point he made. It does really make that crypto asset go from $1 million to $1 billion market cap asset. Crossing that line into ETF makes it $1 trillion asset. Because that is when institutions will put their hands on that asset as well to keep, essentially, which is massive. So that point he made is absolutely extremely bullish and extremely true, because I'm also from the corporate sector. So what he said is, yes, it's true. It's very true. Regarding an asset going from, and I've always said, the crypto space is seen like a joke to the corporate sector, but we are becoming slowly a much more mature place inside the crypto sector, which means institutional money should be wavering in. Now, but that's extremely bullish and extremely true on what he said. The next news to go from tonight's live show is SoftBank. SoftBank to invest $9 billion in a pivot to AI. SoftBank is a Japanese bank, by the way. SoftBank is about to be going heavy-footed into the AI space. Now, they haven't mentioned, are there going to be any sort of crypto AIs involved, any sort of AI blockchains involved, and so on. But it will definitely be a bank to keep your eye on if they do announce some sort of partnerships of any sort of blockchain projects regarding AI developments. Definitely, it's going to be one. Before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. I have some USDT. Yes, safe. Don't worry about it. I bet that Michael Saylor's offers of Dartboard. I read that. But yeah, Max Kaiser is another dumb one. Hello, Miles and CMF. Mav, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So, SoftBank. SoftBank to invest $9 billion in a pivot to AI. The Japanese tech giant SoftBank has unveiled an investment worth nearly $9 billion in artificial intelligence. This approach by SoftBank deviates from its usual ventures regarding capital approach and places the company as a leader in AI and essentially semiconductor industries. The move comes after the chief executive officer, Monsieur, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name wrong or right, but it is a Japanese name, and I'm doing it with a British accent. But Michio's son said that AI would achieve human-level intelligence within the next decade, signaling the fast-paced advances and growth opportunities in AI. SoftBank transforms from venture capital to AI dominance. SoftBank largely recognized for its ambitious, essentially vision funds, and by that they mean they have made some bad investments in the past. Not bad, but high-risk investments. They are a type of bank that doesn't do typical investments on, low investments, nothing to be, on the radar of the SEC or scenarios like that. But they do quite a lot of high-risk fundings. So it makes sense why they're putting $9 billion down in AI. Now, they have essentially, regarding their vision fund, has maintained a reputation of high risk, high reward investments and ventures. And people thought inside the crypto sector, buying meme coins is high risk and high reward. This bank once put a huge $18.5 billion investment, $18.5 billion investment in WeWork, which eventually filed for bankruptcy. Now, if anybody remembers, WeWork essentially is when you book out your own, office temporary basis, but then obviously COVID came around and WeWork went bankrupt and they lost $18.5 billion. It was a complete risk for them, but they took it. They do quite a lot of high risk reward type of situations. It represents the fund's high stake approach. However, developments recently show a much more strategic realignment as the fund shifts its focus towards AI and semiconductors. Yoshitomo Goto, SoftBank's chief financial officer, supported this change, noting that interest in investment activities remains at an active level and will be boosted by a renowned focus on AI business. This is what he said, word for word. This is what Goto said. Yeah, his name is literally Goto. So this is what Goto said. We will, in principle, be keeping the same kind of trend in terms of the pace of investment activities. From now on, we want to step up the investments in AI companies. Now, AI companies could apply to actual AI companies, or it could also apply to some AI company projects regarding blockchain. There's no mentions of any companies they've announced a partnership with, but they have mentioned their $9 billion fund. And again, that was stated by Goto. SoftBank prepares for an AI-driven future. SoftBank's decision to increase the focus on AI correspondence to plan the provided by its CEO Mushi Son, who in several occasions emphasized the role of AI in future advancements. 1 year prior, Son forecasted that artificial general intelligence would outcompete humans 10 times in a decade. This proactive assertion points to the extent of the tech giant's seriousness and magnitude of its investments in the future of AI. The company's strategic plans entitles the need to keep a strong balance sheet to achieve and prompt financial essentially adaptability again in the future. And again, GoTo made some comments. This was GoTo's comment again. The reason we've been keeping our balance sheets at a very safe level is that we would like to be prepared this time around, he added. And we would like to be flexible if there is anything that we would like to move on. The above statement shows how the executives have realized the importance of efficient financial management as they venture into the AI market space. SoftBank strategically positions itself through tactical investments. SoftBank's switch to AI has already begun. Now, a lot of these banks or corporations, when they announce something, it means 6 months later they're going to be doing it. But in terms of SoftBank, they announced it and jumped straight into it. The switch to AI has already pretty much begun on investment sides. The Visions Fund has greatly scaled down its exposures to US-based a net of nearly $29 billion, which includes the disposal of its stakes in firms like DoorDash. This resource allocations approach illustrates the tech giant's plan to focus on numerous sectors that can post high growth and innovation. A notable example in its latest shift in focus, where it invested more than $1 billion into UK's self-driving company as well, Wave. The deal, described as the biggest investment in the AI space in Europe, points to SoftBank. So we can obviously tell SoftBank, one, has a lot of money to play around with, and two, they are quite big in the AI space. You know, being the number one fund, the biggest investment in terms of AI that's happened in Europe was SoftBank's investment from Japan all the way to Europe. The desire to trump others in AI revolutionary use cases. Therefore, by funding Wave, SoftBank is positioning itself to attain ground in what is considered one of the most promising and future-minded industries in the development of self-driving cars as well. SoftBank envisions a future revolutionized by AI technology. SoftBank's $9 billion investment in AI is not just a change of direction. It is a call to arms to rule the world's future by reinforcing its previously set objective of investing in unusual VC projects to fund and develop prominent AI applications. SoftBank tries to become the main driver of AI breakthrough. Over time, as the technology advances to penetrate the several essentially factors of life and business, SoftBank Street investments will greatly essentially deliver high returns, thus propelling the company to remain at the technological frontier. Well, if they carry on with investments like this inside, the digital space, instead of AI and blockchain and so on, they're definitely going to be sitting at number one seat when we go into, in terms of their sales in a decade's time, they're definitely going to be sitting at the top of the table. Michel Son's view of AI is a superior form of intelligence. It supports the value and necessities of such an investment. SoftBank's active positioning guarantees that it will be not just a consumer, but a player in AI future developments that may revolutionize industries and advance human abilities, literally, which is all true. Everything that was just said is absolutely true. Regarding, AI is going to be changing things, and it is going to be smarter than humans. AI is going to be smarter than humans. That's a fact. I mean, the way it's carrying on right now, ChatGPT 4.0 is smarter than, most humans. Let's just be fairly honest. So, getting to ChatGPT 7 or 10 even down the line, it's definitely going to be more smarter than the majority of humans. I can definitely see that happening already. No joke about, ChatGPT 4.0 is already more intelligent than some humans. So, and according also to OpenAI as well, the founders of OpenAI, they said by the time we get to ChatGPT 7, a lot of people lose their jobs to AI as well. That's coming from the founders of OpenAI, ChatGPT. When they get to ChatGPT 7, they said a lot of people will lose their jobs. And right now we're at ChatGPT 4.0. So 5, 6, 7, majority of people lost their jobs. But this bank, now, going back to this is extremely bullish as well. just like the Michael Saylor speech. That was extremely bullish as well. This is also extremely bullish regarding the $9 billion fund, because they're a type of company that does high risk, high reward type of situations. So there could be a possibility that some of their $9 billion could be invested into some sort of blockchain projects, because blockchain projects tend to be high risk investments for quite a lot of corporations until some of them become much more mature assets where they enter into it and do some dealerships and partnerships and contracts and so on. But this particular bank, SoftBank, is no stranger to high risk investments, and blockchain for some of these banks is high risk, but it might not be high risk for them. So some of that $9 billion, maybe somewhere down the line, I'll definitely keep people updated on SoftBank's investments that they do on this live show every single night. I'll definitely keep people informed regarding what SoftBank does, but it's definitely a bank to look out for in case they do partner up with some particular crypto project in the AI field, because they don't mind high risk at all. I mean, they made a massive loss on WeWork, around $18.5 billion, and couldn't care less. And a little bit of time passes, they invest $1 billion into a UK AI driving company. And it was the biggest investment in Europe. That could also go south as well. Doesn't seem to be operating like a traditional bank where they, care about every single investment they do and it can't be high risk. They could care less. All of their investments seem extremely high risk. So blockchain possibly being the next investment or an AI blockchain project is very highly likely. So I'll definitely keep people updated regarding SoftBank and what they did say regarding, humans not being smarter than AI eventually is obviously very true. Now, and they're all going to be sitting at number one by the looks on the sheets. Now, blockchain dev Sophia introduces Bank2Wallet Telegram extension, which is also quite of interesting news as well. So as we all know, Telegram, if you don't know, now you're about to know, Telegram is the alternative to X, let's say, in an odd way. So obviously X operates in a different way to Telegram, and X has this social, aspect about it where everybody gets to talk to each other. Telegram is more like if you know the person, you can talk to them. However, what X is aiming to do regarding becoming an everything app, Telegram also wants to become an everything app. Now, we don't know what X is going to announce regarding what crypto project they're going to choose for, or a multitude of crypto projects they're going to choose regarding payments. We don't know what X is going to do next. But we do know what Telegram has done next, because they partnered with Ton, which was a project they developed a very long time ago, but then had to drop it because the SEC fined them. And then a few random developers picked it up, and then later on, Telegram announces their partnership with the project they developed but had to drop. Also, they have 900 million users, just from perspective. And Telegram is getting ready for a new feature, which is Bank2Wallet Telegram. And they are going to become an everything type of app. Telegram is aiming to become an everything type of app. They have 900 million users. And they're already, creating this creators fund where Telegram is going to become like a social media application as well, where people will get paid out as creators on Telegram in Ton tokens. So, Sophia Labs, a blockchain developer focused on facilitating stablecoin services for business clients, has announced a new fiat on-ramp and off-ramp designed to work within Telegram. The Bank2Wallet extension will allow Telegram users to shift bank funds directly into their wallets and vice versa within the Telegram app for an advertised fee of 0.1% per transaction for early users. The service will open to early users this week of May 27th, and a full launch is expected later this year as well. Although users from any non-sanctioned countries can use the Telegram extension, they must associate the services with a United States dollar or a euro-dominated bank account. Telegram continues to be a hub for crypto innovation and development, with a host of bots and applications like Unibet and the CoinGecko bot creating a robust blockchain ecosystem on Telegram. The Telegram Open Network, TON, is at the center of Telegram's appeal to crypto investors, speculators, and enthusiasts. I mentioned TON when it was first opening their doors, when it was sitting at a much more lower price point as what is sitting at right now. Ton leverages several components, including the Ton blockchain, the Ton DNS, the Ton storage, the Ton sites, to provide users with a one-stop shop for all Web3 needs. According to data from Demand Sage, Telegram boasts an impressive 800 million monthly active users. 800 million monthly active users plus, so roughly 900 million, with more than 52 million people using the platform daily. Demand Stage claims that a whopping 15 billion messages are sent over Telegram each day. 15 billion messages. And the app has been downloaded more than 1 billion times. Telegram is also expected to amass 1 billion users by the end of 2024. Additionally, India ranks as the country with the most Telegram users, with an estimated 104 million users, making the platform a fertile ground to deliver fintech services to the developing worlds. Expanding financial services to developing countries continues to be a core focus of the blockchain industry, with developers such as Ripple Labs and Standard Diamond Co. attempting to create novel solutions for those who lack accurate financial services in the 21st century. Honestly, what Ton is achieving with Telegram is absolutely amazing. What Telegram is going to become later on in terms of blockchain and Web3 is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Roughly 800 to 900 million users, 15 billion messages per day. Yeah, Telegram is going to be killing it without a doubt inside the crypto space, the blockchain space. They've created their wallets. They've created multiple services in terms of Web3. They're adding attachments to Telegram to make it into an everything app eventually. They're sitting roughly at 1 billion users, 1 billion downloads. And Ton will be the only crypto project they use as a backbone for Telegram. Why? Because it was developed by Telegram and then dropped because of the SEC. And then some random developers came along and carried out the work on Ton. And then somewhere down the line, Telegram partnered with Ton, the project they developed themselves. But they had to drop it because of the SEC. But yeah, Ton is going to do incredible things. As long as this Telegram and Ton adventure continues, yeah, Ton is going to do record-breaking numbers. And they are moving quickly, very quickly. So yeah, X has a competitor, and its name is Telegram. Vanguard is the next news about to go from tonight's live show. Vanguard, who is a company that goes against cryptocurrencies. If I'm not mistaken, Vanguard's speech once was, Bitcoin is a volatile asset, cryptocurrencies are volatile, they're backed by nothing, they're all useless, is what Vanguard's typical speeches were. Even when the Bitcoin ETF was approved, Vanguard said, we will never give BTC ETFs to our clients. Even when they were approved regarding Bitcoin ETFs, they were still against it. And then obviously I said, because I'm from the corporate sector, and I've always said 99% of things that are said on the news from corporates are absolutely full of BS. 99% of things are absolutely full of BS. Because Vanguard was always a majority shareholder in Bitcoin's mining institutions. And now, and still is, and now something else is happening with Vanguard, where Vanguard is filing in some documents with the SEC to apply for a special type of fund, a crypto fund. Vanguard, the same company and the same CEO that goes on the news and says Bitcoin cryptocurrency is volatile, backed by nothing, waste of space. It's the same company right now filing in a document with the SEC to apply for a special type of crypto fund. Is the next news we're about to go through on tonight's live show. But before we go through it, let's go inside the comment section. By the way, if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And also, I always read everybody's comments one by one. So I read one news and then comments, one news and then comments, one news and then comments. But I read everybody's comments one by one. So don't worry, I'm going to get to your comment eventually, but I read all the comments now and then the news. And what types of jobs do you think AI will... What types of jobs do I think AI will affect the most? Office jobs. Manual labor is going to be one area that isn't going to be much affected. banks, anybody working inside of a bank can be replaced by AI. Anybody working in fast food will be most likely replaced. Anybody working in company terms, let's say fast food, warehouses, offices, you will be replaced by AI because AI doesn't take vacations. AI doesn't need days off, sick days off. AI is always on time, and AI does the work it's has to do. People, on the other hand, need sick days. People need vacation days. People need maternity days. People need, less hours sometimes, or people don't do the tasks they're assigned to do. So many things can happen regarding people. But corporations see it as, well, AI doesn't need maternity leaves. AI doesn't need vacation days. AI doesn't need sick days. AI doesn't need anything, and it always does a task it's supposed to do. So, obviously, it's not going to be just computers within all these corporations. It's going to be obviously some people as well maintaining the AIs for a given time period. Let's say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. I think after 10 years, even the people that are looking after the AI computers after 10 years, they will lose their jobs too. But anybody doing manual labor, you're pretty much good. Don't worry about it. If you're building if you're doing manual labor in terms of construction, you're building properties and so on, you're doing construction work, plumbing, electric work, you're good. They're not building robots so far for any of those tasks. What they are doing is more like AI in terms of computers, not AI doing electric or plumbing or anything to do with constructions. Or anything to do with manual labor type of wise situations in that aspect. You're pretty much safe. Your job is safe. Now, hey Miles, quick question. How you doing, Andrew Jones? How do you feel about Sologenic? How do I feel about Sologenic? Okay, it's a genuine project. Sologenic is a genuine project from what I've seen so far from them for a while now. It's a genuine project. They're part of the XRP Ledger grant, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Now, I was asked, would I? Not saying you've asked me this question, but someone in the past asked me this question. They said, "Would you buy Sologenic?" If someone asked me a while ago, I said I'd rather buy XRP if I was going to go for Sologenic. Nothing against Sologenic. It seems like a genuine project. It'll probably do very well for itself. And even in my eyes, it's a legitimate project. But if I had a choice, because it's in the same type of category, I'd rather go for XRP. Still can't find anything about ASI. Yeah, they still haven't released any sort of news about it. Thompson, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? If you had the opportunity to, that's my honest opinion, if you had the opportunity to go back in time, would you invest into Bitcoin? If I had the opportunity to go back in time, would I invest into Bitcoin? Anyone would, to be fairly honest. If I had the opportunity to go back in time, I would buy a lot of BTC, a lot of ETH, a lot of XRP still. Now, out of those back in time scenarios, I did buy only a lot of XRP, tremendous amount of XRP. When it was first launched, I was buying. Still have. I'm holding a ridiculous amount still to this day. But I think anyone would personally. Question to everyone watching right now regarding Thompson. Would you buy, if you could go back in time, would you buy Bitcoin? Okay, I'll change the question. If you could go back in time, would you invest into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP if you could go back in time on the early days? Or would you just invest in the Bitcoin, or would you just invest in the Ethereum, or would you just invest in XRP? Or would you go for all three if you went back in time? If you went back in time, would you invest in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP? All three of them, or just one of them or two of them? Go for it. Everyone watching this right now, go for inside the comment section. Let's see what everyone's responses. Is everyone going to go for Bitcoin? Is everyone going to go for Ethereum, or all three of them? Because don't forget, XRP was sitting below a penny at one point as well. Below a cent, pretty much. Miles, I presume the universities and colleges will take a big hit once AI takes over 50% of the jobs, or they better sync quickly with the future. I think inside of universities, they're going to get students to essentially learn about AIs, what they're doing. There's so much, blockchain courses going on right now. So I think in universities right now, I know for a fact that Ripple, Sand, Solana, Cardano have created these university funds where they're giving out money to universities to do these blockchain courses within this university and teach students on how to develop the blockchain and work with the blockchain and so on. So I think, the younger generation that's in, education right now is going to be the one that develops on the AIs moving forward. And this is why I said, if you are a parent and you're watching this live show for the first time ever as well, welcome. But if you're a parent and you're watching this live show and you want your kids to have, you want your children to have a successful future, then the future is headed towards blockchain and AI. And if you want your child to have a successful future and progress, do incredibly well for themselves and be proud of themselves later on in life, yes, steer them towards blockchain and AI in terms of education. Put them towards the path of blockchain and AI in terms of education, and they will do incredible things in life. Would you? Honestly, it goes back to that analogy of, the old analogy where there was farmers working on land, and then the tractor comes along, and the farmers that were working on the land, essentially, they thought they're going to lose their jobs to the tractor, which they did. But the farmer that learned to drive the tractor and use the tractor kept his job. Is the analogy I would use, which is, in other words, if you want your children to have a future moving forward, blockchain and AI is the future. And if they study for anything else, they'll most likely be replaced by AI by the time they make it out of university. If they study to become a banker, by the time they get to a banking level, AI is already taking their job, and they have a degree that they can put on the wall and never use. But they can go into blockchain and AI and be the person that develops the blockchain for the bank and be the person that develops the AI for the bank instead, as an alternative. Now, would you rather see a tree grow or a Negro? Okay, I can't believe that you made me say that word. Apologies for me saying that word. And for that, you're getting blocked. Block. I use USDT currently. How long will it be safe? Use USDT currently. How long will it be safe? USDT is safe for now still. Mainly call center will be replaced by AI. Call centers will definitely be replaced by AI, 100%. Is it hard to detect bull movements? Any hints to keep in mind? Is it hard to detect the bull movements? Right now, the market is hyped up on ETF space. The market is extremely still hyped up about ETFs, and the doors haven't opened regarding Ethereum ETFs either, so it could definitely push the market to spaces. Render is. What is your opinions on BitTorrent, LAT, Algo, Flare? Flare, good. I know some developers from Flare. It's an alright project as well. Algo has potential. LAT is a great project. And BitTorrent is high risk, high reward. Render. Apologies about that. Render, is it on ETH or Sol network? I tried to send it to Ledger via ETH. It wouldn't go. I tried Sol and lost my Render. Render, is it on ETH or Sol network? No, it's on their own. I remember Jack, Brian, direct message me, I'll send you the contract. I remember Jack saying AI would take over, that was 10 years ago. People didn't believe him. Jack MA started Alibaba. That Jack MA. I was wondering. Guys, remember we have something good here with the CMF. Do not forget to share it daily. If it has benefited me, it has benefited me greatly over the last year and a half. Let's go, Scots. That's no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Lol, thanks for your honesty. No problem, Thompson. Bitcoin. Iman said Bitcoin. Happy Pies, he said all three regarding which crypto assets we should go for. Of course, invest in the trifecta. Let's go, Brian. Will you swap to BTC after this bull run? No. Will you swap to BTC after this bull run? No. Regarding my assets, would I swap my assets into BTC after this bull run? Never. I will never swap any of my assets into BTC. The only swapping I will do is when I sell off the majority of my portfolio in the run, I would sell them off, and then the profits will be going towards financial projects. In other words, XRP, XLM, XDC, and ACH, because they carry the most licensings, they carry the most amount of contracts, and I've read the PDF contracts, so they carry the most moving forward, and utilities what cryptocurrencies are generally about. So I will never swap my assets into BTC after or before or any time down the road into BTC. I will never do it. All of my profits will be going, and everybody's seen my crypto portfolio inside Telegram group as well. But all of my profits will go towards financial assets. The two categories inside the crypto space that will always be number one categories moving forward is always going to be the financial category, which is digital money. In other words, XRP, XLM, XDC, they're going to be the number one carriers. And then second category inside the crypto space is data. Data is the number one, the second category. Everything's relied on data inside of a digital space. So in terms of Web3, data, gaming, data, metaverse, data, AI, data, social credit systems, data. Moving into a digital, shifting into a digital era in terms of the entire world moving into it, data is key. It's pretty much the next oil. The two categories is money going digital and data. So no, I will never do any swapping into BTC. The swappings will only be made towards my financial projects. All three is what Dennis said. So yeah, Shelly, only the financial projects. All, as George said, all three. All three is what JR Pro said. Jason said all three. Stormy said all three. Miles is free and has always been free. He has never charged me for anything, which is true. I've never charged anyone for anything. Nor tried to sell me anything, which is also true. I don't sell any courses either. So let's get this show out there for the public. Facts. Let's go, Scott. Scott, thanks so much for the kind words. Yeah, if you're watching this for the first time, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into this live show every night. And also, get inside the comment section. Everybody's absolutely amazing inside CMF, and we have a free group. Everything I do is completely free source because I believe education should be free. And every night you can tune into this live show and get inside the comment section, communicate with members in CMF, which is the name of this live show as well, by the way, CMF live show. And we talk about recent news that's happening around the world. We still have quite a bit of news to go through as well, which we haven't yet. All three. I'm going to swap some to BTC. I'm as happiest holding XRP. Let's go. None. I was broke by that. Tor said none. I was broke by that. What were the three? I missed what you said. BTC, Ethereum, and XRP. BTC, Ethereum, and XRP. And I'd rather hold XRP today without seeing gain for 5 years than go back in time and buy BTC. It's a hypothetical question, not genuinely back in time, back into the future type question. But I understand the perspective. I would definitely have brought BTC, and up to now, I wish I never bought XRP. BTC is sitting at the highest price, so therefore I would made the most amount of money. If I knew what I know now about XRP, I would have only brought XRP, something forever said. Fair enough. Lol. That's what I'm worried about. My daughter wants to be a radiographer. Maybe radiographer will still be around. People like to interact with people in terms of that aspect. Blockchain and AI will be a better route. But some people don't have that passion for that, which I fully understand. Some people genuinely don't have a passion for blockchain and AI, which I understand up to a certain extent. But sometimes you've got to do things you don't like, is what I also understand. One more question, Miles. What do you think the bull run starts / peaks? We're technically in it. It's just a very manipulated version. We're technically in it. It's just a very manipulative mission. So, in terms of peak, as we get closer to the election, or look, this is what I've said in the past, and I'm sticking by it because it's true. up to now, so far, what I've said has always happened. If you don't know that, now you know, and you're watching this for the first time. I'm almost never wrong. Actually, never wrong, to be fair. I'm never wrong. Almost never wrong, never wrong. People can quote me on this as well. And because I base all my movements on actual data and contracts, not living in La La Land. But regarding what I said in the past and has came true so far as well, is the burst, the mini burst that we keep on having in the markets. I said we're going to have that burst of essentially more regulations coming in through, which creates adoption, the burst of more corporations coming in through, the burst of essentially, mini bursts inside the market space that gets the market pumping up and running again. And I said the multiple cases, that's going to create some, mini bursts inside the crypto space. Well, the biggest burst from the cases will definitely be the Ripple case, holding back that particular crypto asset for this many years and missing bull runs. That asset is going to be blown to the sky and then obviously shooting back down because too many people are holding for years, but then obviously going back up and stabilizing itself at a certain price point. But we're technically in it. It's just a very manipulated version, and there's more bursts on the way. There's a lot of things that still need to happen this year in terms of more corporations, more ETFs should be coming this year, not just stopping at Ethereum in any sort of a way. I mean, we went through all of these years with no Bitcoin or no Ethereum, or none of these ETFs. We never had any of these ETFs. We went through all of these years, and then suddenly in this particular year, we're having 2 ETFs. And a lot of people think, well, that's it. The rest of the ETFs are coming next year. Those people didn't even know we're going to have ETFs this year. Never mind those people now saying, well, that's it. We've had 2 ETFs. The next is for next year and next year. They didn't even know, honestly, we're going to have 2 ETFs this year. So the chance of saying, that's it. We've already had, Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF, and that's it. No more. No, there's a possibility of a lot more ETFs having this year. There's a possibility of a lot more corporations coming in this year. There's a possibility of a lot more regulations coming this year. There's a possibility of more, essentially, CBDC launches has been happening this year in terms of test phases. There's a lot more possibilities happening this year in terms of these, cases coming to an end. A lot of things still needs to happen this year, which is going to create these, bursts inside the market space to get the market up and running again in different ways. And I also did say, 2024 is when the world starts shifting into a digital space completely. XRP is the start, essentially. I'm a black man and I'm laughing at that stupidity. XRP since day one, 100x, ETH 450x, and BTC 100,000x. Up since day one. Definitely I invest in all if we go back in time. Let's go. I'm all in on XRP, XLM, XDC, ACH, HBAR, Adder, and now TON. Let's go, Scott. I wouldn't buy any pizzas and buy all 3, which is a fair point. I just wanted to swap some to say I hold it low. No, don't do that. Shelly, don't make swaps just to say you hold BTC. Don't do that. You're not investing for other people's amusements. You're investing for your own, generational wealth. So don't do that. Keep your XRPs and XLM XDCs. Don't buy a little bit of BTC just to say that. You're not investing for other people. You're investing for yourself and your family. Always remember that. Keep on target. Miles, I have not heard you say much about Algo, Chills, Vet, Graph, or Matic. Opinions. Fair point. Algo is good. Nothing wrong with Algo. It's a legitimate project. Chills is also a legitimate project. Bit slow, but legitimate project. VeChain applied for that license, which I didn't check up on if they got it or not in terms of financial license. Graph, I'm actually, friends and acquaintances with one of the people that started up the Graph project, the founders of Graph. I'm quite acquaintance/friend, I could maybe say, acquaintance/friends, and regarding the person that started the Graph project, good project, nothing wrong with it. Matic, also a good project, nothing wrong with it. Honey, high risk. Vara, I don't know what the recent movements are. Bonk, high risk. Amp, high risk. I want to know about Algo too, please. Algo's a good project. It's a legitimate project. Would I say it's a must-have in your, essentially portfolios? Yes and no. Okay, I'll tell you one thing about Algo, which is quite good, actually. There's a European bank that I also revealed on this live show. There's a European bank in Germany or Austria that's partnered with Algorand, and they're developing a stablecoin. So that's quite major for Algorand in terms of the adoption rate that can happen on Algorand's chain. So that European bank, developing Algorand with Algorand Foundation, and they're building a stable coin that's definitely going to bring some attention to Algorand moving forward. So that's good. I definitely wished that I knew about cryptocurrencies 10 years ago. Fair point. My kids hate coding and tech, etc., unfortunately. Fair point. Thompson. Miles, I swapped 2 Ethereum today for USDC. Now I've got funds on the sidelines. Any suggestions? Yeah, financial projects. Not financial advice, ironically. Elon Musk mentioned STH about XAI, and people thought he's talking about a gaming crypto called XAI. I hope it pumps. Hope too. Hope you make a lot of money from that. Ton or Link? Ooh, that's an interesting one. Would I go for Ton or Link? Link has a lot more contracts, obviously. Chainlink has a list of partnerships, an extensive list of partnerships and contracts. Ton has one major partnership, which is Telegram, which is their only bet. Ton's only partnership and their only route to success is Telegram. Chainlink's route to success, a successful path, is on multiple partnerships, which gives it a higher chance of success. And not saying Ton won't become successful, because in my eyes, Ton will become successful and Telegram will still be around. They're both good. Before I mention which one I would choose, they're both good. Ton is good, Chainlink is good as well. Link is what I would have to go for. But they're both good, because Ton's, I'm giving it from corporate perspective, is the mindset I'm running on always. Ton, their successfulness, essentially their path to success, is only based on Telegram, that one partnership and link they have. Link is based on multiple partnerships on their path to becoming a successful project. So they have a higher chance of becoming successful than Ton having that route on only one based on one contract. That's why I would say Link. However, Ton, amazing project still. It's a project that I would definitely say to everybody, research on Ton. Definitely research on Ton. As a project that I personally hold as well, for transparency, everybody see my portfolio inside the Telegram group of this live show. I hold Ton as well. I mean, amazing project. I hold both Link and Ton. I was thinking of buying both Ton and Chainlink. They're not, why not? Research, obviously, before you buy it. Don't buy anything you don't understand. Research it. I read there were 13 ETF applications. 8 as far as I was aware. Miles's crystal ball is always on point though. Let's go, Ray. I told you, as I said, as you can see, Ray inside the comment section saying my crystal ball is always on point though. I'm almost always right. I'm almost always right, or I'm always right. Always. Because I can't even say almost, because so far I've been always right. There's some news about a partnership between Chainlink and Switch. There's some news about partnership between Chainlink and Switch. You mean Swift? Yeah, Swift. Yeah, that's true. I mean later on. As in later on, would I swap anything to BTC? No. No, profits will only go towards financial projects for me. Never to BTC. Miles, what's your opinion on the new laws coming in that 18-year-olds are being called to service? Well, Rishi Sunak apparently is not going to be winning the case. So Rishi Sunak apparently is not going to be, winning the Prime Minister election that's going on right now. So the UK Labour seems to be having the majority of the votes. But if Rishi Sunak wins and becomes the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, then every 18-year-old plus has to go to the army for 1 whole year, or do charity work and help out the elderly every weekend. It's a way for him to bring the country together. I have a better way of bringing the country together. There's multiple ways, but maybe give the opportunity to the younger generation to be able to afford a house, be able to afford a car, to be able to insure the car. Maybe lower the taxes, because the taxes are absolutely through the roof. There are multiple ways you can win the people back, and you can fix the issue from the roots. You don't have to go and send them to the army. But there's multiple ways you can save an economy. Because we're paying ridiculous amounts of tax in the UK. I mean, we earn wages and then we pay taxes on the wages. And then we buy food products that we pay taxes on. And then we buy a house, which we pay a council tax on, which is supposed to go to fixing the roads in your area, which never does. The same pothole will always be there. And then, you're paying tax on your electricity, paying tax on your gas, paying tax on water. Your entire life is just based on tax this, tax that, tax this, tax, and VAT as well. And at the end, nothing. So there are other ways of maybe fixing the economy, not sending everybody to the army. Because let's say if you send them to the army, what next? They still, when they do come back from the army, they can't afford a house, buy a car, insure a car, pay for electricity, pay for food, pay for gas. So many things they can't pay for still later on in life. Because at these prices, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down on price points, it seems like it's increasing. Actually, rent is increasing, mortgage is increasing, a lot of things are still increasing. So there's better ways to fix an economy. And that's a temporary stage of what he's doing, trying to regard services. How about you fix the taxes and VATs? 99.2%. No, I meant me. I'm going to sway some later, or just to have some, because it's what I want to do. Fair enough. I deleted the message to write it correct, Swift, but apparently you can still see it. Yeah, I can see it here on the screen. Mouse, I still have 9 more ETH to swap, which I'll be swapping it for financial projects. But are they waiting on the news on XRP before the pump? Yes, they definitely are. Miles, can I ask you for your opinion on CMF? Why is the UK destroying itself? Can I ask you an opinion? Can I ask you for an opinion of the CMF? Why is the UK destroying itself? Greed. Greed is the reason. Greed is the downfall of everything. It's the weakness of every human being, pretty much. Honestly, greed is the weakness of every human being. It always has been in terms of history, and it always will be. Unfortunately, in terms of politicians. Miles, I will also, it's very simple, greed. Miles, I will hold some ETH as I will need it in the bull run when to sell some of my products for gas fees. Yeah. Honestly, if you're holding quite a bit of ETH, I mean, they're going to go higher and higher and higher in terms of, because of the ETF situation. So I wouldn't sell off all of my ETH, is what I would say. No financial advice in any sort of way. Personal opinion. Rishi not getting back surely. That's what they want. 2030, own nothing and be happy, pretty much. Which is a fair point. What Shelley said, absolutely fair point. Now, as I was saying on this news, Vanguard files a special. This is absolutely amazing news because, as I said previously, Vanguard always hated cryptocurrencies publicly. They stated it multiple times. They hate crypto. They hate Bitcoin, is what Vanguard has always said. It's too volatile. It's backed by nothing, and everything else, negative about cryptocurrencies. They even said it the day BTC ETFs were approved. Vanguard couldn't control themselves and had to come out on the news and say, we will never have Bitcoin ETFs. The day BTC ETFs were approved. They still couldn't control themselves then. This is how much they hate crypto. And even though they are still a majority shareholder on Bitcoin mining institutions, but they'll never state that publicly. That's only on paperwork. So this is quite a major news. A recent event has prompted many to speculate the possibilities that investment banking giant Vanguard may be having a rethink on its crypto stance. Now, you might be thinking, why is Vanguard having a rethink on their crypto stance? Well, Vanguard offers the definition of crypto terms as detailed in recent updates. The company, Vanguard, has filed for a new Vanguard specialized fund. Now, you also might be thinking, what is this new Vanguard specialized fund they've been applying for? With the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. As revealed, the fund seeks to track the performance of a benchmark index of the benchmark index that measures the investment return of common stocks. You might be thinking, oh, well, it's related to the stock market or something, of companies that have a record of increasing dividends over time. Well, this has no relevance to cryptocurrencies. In a lodged filing, there was a mention of digital currencies alongside some key crypto-linked definitions provided by the investment management firm. Vanguard described digital currency as a digital asset that acts solely as a store of value, a medium of exchange, or a unit of an account. It was further categorized as a digital asset that is not issued or guaranteed by any jurisdiction, central bank, or public authorities. So they did mention also regarding crypto assets in their new filings, by the way. Vanguard's new filings, crypto assets, specialized fund is what they're calling it. According to Vanguard's filings, digital assets relies on techniques to facilitate the regulation of the generation of new units of digital assets. New units of digital assets. It equally has transactions that involve the digital asset recorded on decentralized networks or distributed ledgers. Decentralized networks or distributed ledgers is also what's mentioned on this new filing regarding Vanguard and the SEC. Noteworthy, the firm went on to offer a distinction between digital currencies and digital security tokens. They went deep. This second group encompasses any digital asset that is neither a digital currency nor a digital utility token. As submitted to the SEC, digital security tokens oftentimes derive its value primarily from a represent of an interest in a separate asset or pools of assets. The last group of asset described by Vanguard is the digital utility token. As I've said previously, cryptocurrencies, everybody forgot, some people, the majority of people inside the crypto space, forgot that utility is the main purpose of crypto. There was a very, very long time ago, a time period inside the crypto space where everybody thought only about utility. A long time ago inside the crypto space, the retail section was all about utility inside the crypto section. And then somewhere along the line, somewhere down the road, the retail section went from that mature mentality of crypto's about utility to crypto's about a quick buck. And all these meme coins started spreading into the market space, and you hear these news: this person put $3,000 and made 40 million, that person made 10,000 into 100 million, and so on and so on. And everybody's just started drifting away from the retail section, from that utility mindset to a quick buck. Now, also hedge funds had a hand in that situation of that quick buck situation. Yeah, hedge funds have been manipulating the crypto market for a very long time, because it was always operating in a gray area. But then now, fast forward to today, where the banks, the corporations, the regulations are all coming through. We've seen it with our own eyes. The FIT21 Act, the Stablecoin Act, the ETF space, the corporations, 937 corporations, going for BTC ETFs according to the 13F filings and the SEC. And now we're at the stage where utility matters inside of a crypto project. It's where the money is going to be allocated towards from all these institutions to legitimate crypto projects. And the retail section has forgot about it. The retail section, the mindset they had before, which was utility, changed to quick buck because of hedge fund manipulations on meme coins, to now they've completely, they're lost. The majority of retail section inside the crypto space is lost. If you tell someone, what would you rather buy, XRP, XLM, XDC, or so on and so on, they'll say, I'd rather buy Bonk. What? They'll say, I'd rather buy, Zebra token. This is the mentality of the retail section. If I go to a corporate right now, a corporation that has billions to their name, and I say to them, if you were going to be entering the crypto asset, what would you rather buy? They would say Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Chainlink, Near, in terms of those types of actual legitimate crypto assets. Now, some of you might be saying, well, nobody's saying XRP, but SBI Holdings is. Not single of these corporations that own billions to their names would ever go and say Bonk or Zebra token or Camel token. But the retail section is so far gone. Some of them. They're too manipulated and too brainwashed, essentially is what it is. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the last group of assets described by Vanguard is the digital utility token. And there are people inside the crypto space that will tell you utility does not matter, is what people will tell you inside the crypto space. A lot of these crypto influencers will tell you utility doesn't matter. It's all about making that next meme coin money. But then you have, a lot of corporations, regulations, someone coming in for that utility factor right now. And the last group of assets described by Vanguard is the digital utility token. This was described as a digital asset that provides access to particular networks, products, or service, amongst others. This is what Vanguard has written down in their filings to the SEC in terms of what this special fund is going to be entitled to. Utility crypto. There's not a single, essentially, part of this filing where Vanguard has mentioned we're creating this meme coin fund, or we're lining up to buy a Bonk token, or Zebra token, or Camel token. No, their money is going to be allocated to utility tokens, which is the main purpose of crypto. But the retail section, somewhere down the line, forgot about it. And they're too focused on the next zoo token that pops out of nowhere. Vanguard frowned on spot Bitcoin ETFs a long time ago. It is not known for sure what the direction Vanguard is trailing with this digital asset situation, but the company have previously portrayed itself as a hater towards cryptocurrencies and bitcoins. A long time ago, as I said, Vanguard came on the news publicly and said, we don't like Bitcoin. It's a volatile asset. We don't like cryptocurrency. It's a volatile asset. They're backed by nothing. They even mentioned these things on the day Bitcoin ETFs were approved. And at that time, that particular time, there was still a majority shareholder in Bitcoin mining institutions, ironically, but they forgot to mention that on the news. So the company that was publicly stating these things is now applying for a specialized fund with the SEC for utility purposes. Vanguard. They have a lot of money to play around with. But the company have previously portrayed, and they're going for distributed ledger projects, essentially. Decentralized networks and distributed ledger projects. It is not known for sure what the essentially direction Vanguard is trailing with their digital asset issues because of how much hatred they had publicly. But the company have previously portrayed itself as a hater of Bitcoin, while other top investment asset management firms like BlackRock, Fidelity tested the waters of spot Bitcoin ETFs in January. Vanguard clarified its lack of interest in the offerings. Vanguard hinged its decisions on the highly speculative and unregulated nature of the broader crypto market, adding that the companies have a conflict with this long-term investing philosophy. Meanwhile, Tim Buckley, the current chairperson and CEO, who has been in the position for over 3 decades, is set to retire by the end of 2024. In preparation for his exit later this year, the company has appointed a new CEO, Salim Ramja, a former executive at BlackRock. So, Vanguard is about to be getting a new chairperson, CEO in other words, and this new CEO that's going to be running the show in Vanguard is a BlackRock executive. Now it makes it very clear on why Vanguard is applying for a specialized crypto fund, because the new CEO they're going to be having is a BlackRock executive. And how far is, I mean, BlackRock is deep into crypto territory with 1 ETF, 2 ETF actually, and 3, a fund in IBEX fund regarding tokenizations. And they have more ventures going on in terms of BlackRock. I mean, I could speak for days regarding the ventures BlackRock's in, but I won't right now. If you want to watch what BlackRock is in, you can tune into the other live shows as well. I mean, every live show that I do is pre-recorded and posted automatically. So that's me up to. So considering his years of experience leading BlackRock's, and ironically, the CEO of the new CEO of Vanguard that's going to come into place, essentially, considering his years of experience leading BlackRock's global ETF business, the person that's going to be the new CEO of Vanguard was the person that was leading the charge in BlackRock regarding ETFs. A point to this fueling the speculation of the possible change in stance in the long run of Vanguard. Yeah, Vanguard is about to go headfirst into crypto assets. But what's happening right now is like a chessboard, is what I said previously as well. They're essentially positioning themselves like a chessboard, is what's happening right now. They're getting ready to play chess with the rest of the world, but they're positioning themselves, not Vanguard, and everyone, not just Vanguard is what I meant to say. All these corporations. Now, the next news to also go through is quite a big one. That's extremely bullish as well regarding what Vanguard is doing, extremely bullish. Now, the next news to go through on tonight's live show is regarding Hong Kong. Hong Kong set to trail digital currency for mortgaging. Mortgages in digital currency. Hong Kong. Next news to go through on tonight's live show. But before we go through that, I want to go through the comment section right now. If you have any comments, put that inside the comment section. And by the way, I read everybody's comments one by one. So let me see where I was inside the comment section. I was here, actually. Here we go. Greed, all facts. Same thing here in America and everywhere else, all throughout history. Nothing new under the sun. Facts. Let's go, Ray. Absolute facts. Miles, what do you think about the market tomorrow? Up or down? Sideways. Banks down, probably sideways. Banks will lose too much in fees once crypto implements, and for US to keep its competitiveness, and they have to integrate new system. True, very true. Regarding what ISO and Jetpack said, or we will be at the mercy of other countries who adapted it. True. Making money is a utility. Dodge. Making money is utility. Dodge. Meme coins or Dodge meme coins are starting to add utility to their ecosystems, which is true. Regarding meme coins adding utility, because AVAX founders decided to do that as well. So AVAX founders decided to create a $100 million fund to pump their ecosystem with meme coins to get the utility coming in from the retail section. But it's for suckers. That's how you get retail section to come in, essentially, and you post stories about people who make millions of dollars on meme coins, but they'll never post the stories about the 99%, because everybody will tell you the story about a guy that's put about a guy that put $3,000 into this meme coin and he made $10 million. Everybody will tell you the story. This guy put $3,000 and made $10 million. But nobody will tell you the other story of the 99% that puts money in that particular meme coin project and made zilch. Because nobody wants to hear that story of the 99% behind that guy that made absolutely nothing. But everybody wants to hear about that one person that made it through. But essentially, that's what it is. It's just getting sucker money into their ecosystems. And it is what helped also, and ISO Jetpack is saying is true. It's also what helped Ethereum. Regarding meme coins. Meme coins and NFTs were the main factors of boosting Ethereum. was meme coins and NFTs that boosted Ethereum. Solana went and played in the exact same footsteps as Ethereum. Solana likes to go about and say, you know, we're different to Ethereum, we're better, we're faster, we're cheaper to Ethereum. But Solana's, you know, following the exact blueprint that Ethereum left behind, which is get the ball rolling with meme coins, essentially NFTs. Essentially, what boosted Solana is what boosted Ethereum in the early days. And then the blueprint was passed down to Solana, which goes around and says we're different to Ethereum, but they followed the exact same blueprint which was left, which was meme coins and NFTs that boosted Solana. That's why AVAX founders decided to create a $100 million fund to get themselves boosted with meme coin money as well, which is sucker money from the retail section. Because I can tell you for a fact, there's not a single corporation lining up, you know, to buy meme coins. No, it's for the retail section. They get them sucked in. And then they, you know, boost up these shiny stories. This guy put $3,000 and made $44 million. But they'll never tell you about the other 99% behind that guy that made absolutely nothing. Because nobody wants to hear that story. But yeah, what ISO Jack is saying is true. Meme coins are starting to add utility to their ecosystems, which is sucker money essentially. For XDodge, Bitcoins even has use cases now, starting lending, gaming, 401ks, etc. Yes, it does. Regarding Bitcoin, yes, it does. 401ks and pensions, quite a lot of them are entering into BTC, also facts. Miles, the guy that I told you, said that Ripple fired one of the teams that was selling XRP monthly and dumping on the people. That's the same guy. That's the same one who created XLM. Is that true? That's not true, no. Hong Kong always ahead of the game. Yes, I agree. We're going to Hong Kong, always ahead of the game. Yes, definitely. Facts, what Shirley said as well. ISO Jetpack, true, what you said. Now, Hong Kong, big move here. Hong Kong set to trial digital currency for mortgages. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority is preparing to conduct another trial of its digital currency, its e-Hong Kong dollars. This upcoming test will focus on the pricing and distribution of mortgages in digital currency in Hong Kong. As reported by South China Morning Post, the trial aims to involve select participants in evaluating how e-Hong Kong dollars can be integrated into mortgaging mechanisms within the region. Imagine getting a mortgage with your cryptocurrencies. Or, you know, in terms of, you know, Hong Kong, they're going to start off with their own Hong Kong dollars. Stablecoin and CBDC is what they aim for. Hong Kong prepares to pilot digital currencies for mortgage applications. For mortgage applications, digital currencies in Hong Kong. According to a report, Hong Kong believes that the adoption of their e-Hong Kong dollars could enable Hong Kong residents to borrow from multiple lenders at a decent amount of rates. Additionally, it is anticipated that digital currency will facilitate faster approval and disbursement of processes for mortgages. However, it remains unclear whether a new regulatory body will be established to oversee the mortgages related to activities involving the e-Hong Kong dollars. Several financial institutions in Hong Kong have already shown interest in this initiative during their initial pilot programs. Notably, Boston Consulting Group, BCG, and ZA Bank are among the entities that have expressed their support. ZA Bank is a part of Ripple. They have that contract a long time ago. BCG's estimates suggest that the utilization of e-Hong Kong dollars could extend to tokenized assets, potentially digitalizing assets valued approximately $4.6 trillion, with a significant focus on residential properties becoming tokenized through the mortgage. The acceleration this pilot program in Hong Kong coincides with China's recent launch of its first pilot outside the mainland, introducing essentially the digital yuan, also known as the E69 in Hong Kong. The digital yuan is currently undergoing trials as well for cross-boundary payments. This initiative allows Hong Kong residents to top up digital wallets with 10,000 Chinese CBDC yuan through 17 retail banks in Hong Kong, including Standard Chartered Bank, Ripple partner, ZA Bank, Ripple partner, DBS Bank, Ripple partner. In conclusion, the upcoming e-Hong Kong pilot program in Hong Kong represents a significant step towards exploring the potential of digital currencies in the mortgage industry, with the support of various financial institutions and concurrent introduction of the digital yuan in the region. Hong Kong is positioning itself as a forefront of digital currency innovation. It definitely is. Mortgages and cryptocurrencies, or mortgages in this times, and CBDCs and stablecoins, it's still a step forward, an amazing step forward, to be fairly honest. It's definitely going to be changing how we see things. Not only are they going to be essentially providing mortgages through cryptocurrencies or stablecoins, CBDCs, it's the first step, but they're also going to be tokenizing your property that you do mortgage as well on the blockchain, which is amazing as well. Now, if you didn't know this about Hong Kong, Hong Kong is definitely, regarding what Shelley said, absolute facts. They are well ahead of the game, Hong Kong. And they are aiming to also become a crypto hub. But here's something that some of you might not know about Hong Kong and one major bank in Hong Kong, Fubon Bank in Hong Kong. Last year, Fubon Bank established a partnership with Ripple last year. And Fubon Bank established a partnership with Ripple on the terms of, doing distributed ledger technology work together, and tokenization, and mortgages. Just want to put that out there as well. And there's 24,000 crypto projects. There's roughly, 20,000, 24,000, 20,000 plus crypto projects. Only one does CBDCs. Because you can say, there's 24,000 crypto projects, and 100 of those projects are gaming projects. 250 of those projects are AI projects. There's a lot of competitiveness going on there. There's a lot of projects inside the data category. There's a lot of projects inside the AI category. There's a lot of projects inside the gaming category. There's a lot of projects inside the Web3 category inside the crypto space. 24,000 crypto projects, and there's so much competitiveness going on. Obviously, what splits that competitiveness is their contracts and who they're working with and developing with. But here's one. 24,000 crypto projects plus, 24,000 plus crypto projects, only one does CBDCs, actually has a CBDC platform. Seems like there's no competitors there. Now, Van Eyck. Van Eyck's Gober Gorbis advocates for Bitcoin reserve plan for the US is the next news to go through. So Van Eyck is coming out and giving a speech that every country, including the US, should have Bitcoin reserves. Miles, when CMF becomes millionaires, we could all invest into buying an island and have our own law and having our own laws. Could do. Hong Kong, 7 million Great British pounds is 359 billion. Morocco's 37 million population, Great British pounds, GBP, Great British pounds, 130 billion. Whoa. Okay. Now, Van Eyck. Thank you, Tor, for the price points. Van Eyck's Gober Gorbis advocates for Bitcoin reserve plan for US. Van Eyck advisor Gober has expressed his backings for Bitcoin as a reserve asset plan. The investment strategist explained in a post on X that the United States dollar has no better alternative, adding that countries with depreciating fiat currencies should consider venturing into Bitcoin as a reserve currency rather than legal tender. He further stated that it had been advocating for central banks and countries to include Bitcoin in their balance sheets, as this would strengthen and diversify their fiat contingent reserves. Gorbis also noted that at a time like this, it is irresponsible for countries not to hold Bitcoin in their portfolios. Irresponsible for countries not to hold Bitcoin in their portfolios. In other words, it means go head first into Bitcoin, suggesting that they can start with a 0.5% and build up to 5% of their balance sheets. Notably, Grobers commented after a crypto influencer scenario asked them about the former US President Donald Trump in a social media post, whether he plans to announce the purchase of 2 million BTC and 10 million ETH to establish a strategic US crypto reserve if he is reelected as president. This development comes at aims Trump's massive support for the crypto sector, for his pro-crypto stance as he vies for presidency. The Republican presidential candidate, during his speech, recently did outline his plans for the crypto industry in the US. His plans for the crypto industry, if he's elected, is pledged to stop Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, efforts to crack down on the crypto industry and position the United States as a prominent global crypto hub. He also criticized President Joe Biden's property misunderstandings of the industry and emphasized that he would protect the country's 50 million digital asset holders, which is all true regarding what he said. Which is all true regarding what Donald Trump said, the manipulation side. But that's politics. But now going back to what Gorbachev said. Yes, true. I feel like every country, regarding what Van Eyck's opinion is on this matter, yes, true. Every country should be diversifying into digital assets, and if they want to start off with Bitcoin, their choice. But every country should definitely diversify into cryptocurrencies in terms of assets, also as reserve assets. Without a doubt, yes, definitely alongside their gold and silver, they should have some crypto as well. I agree with everything Van Eyck has said. I'm extremely bullish regarding Van Eyck saying this. Times are definitely changing, with politics changing on face value. Also, with the opinions changing, and the mindset is changing. And you can see the positioning that's going on as well. Van Eyck's CEO being replaced by a BlackRock advocate, which before the CEO has even been replaced, Vanguard's already applying for a specialized fund with the current CEO they have. So they're positioning themselves. The entire world is positioning itself for this digital move. This is when the world shifts into a digital era. 2024 is when the world shifts into a digital era. I said this going into 2024. Michael Saylor said this going into 2024. Grayscale said this in 2024 at the beginning. A few other perspectives as well. But just to point out, I did say it before everybody else. Before Michael Saylor, Grayscale, and everybody else. This is why I say I'm never wrong. Because I base my opinions on data and contracts only, not law land, data and contracts. Never wrong, almost wrong, almost never wrong, never wrong. Let's go never wrong. So far, I've never been wrong. Bold words, I know. But we're also coming up to the endings of tonight's live show as well. What cryptos do you? I mean, Great British Pounds. What's wrong with me? GDP. Now I'm saying it. GDP. Yes, I was surprised when you said Great British Pounds. I was like, is this GDP or Great British Pounds? What cryptos do you see having ETFs allowed in the future in 2 years? What crypto products I see having an ETF moving forward? XRP, definitely ETF. Solana, if it stays around, definitely ETF. Chainlink, definitely ETF. Cardano, I could see it having an ETF down the line. AVAX, I could definitely see it having an ETF down the line. So I would say XRP ETF, yes. Solana ETF, yes. Chainlink ETF, yes. AVAX ETF, yes. Cardano ETF, yes. Quite a lot of ETFs are going to be coming down the road, but for legitimate assets. I can never possibly see a Pepe ETF, or a Bonk ETF, or a Fleeky Inu ETF, or Zebra Token ETF. I can never see any of that happening because the corporate sector won't take that seriously at all. But that doesn't mean money's never going to be entering those crypto projects. It will. Hedge funds will enter it, retail sector will enter it, whales will enter those type of zoo projects. And anybody that's holding any sort of zoo type of projects, I wish you the best. I wish you make a lot of money for yourself. It doesn't matter if you're holding Zebra token or if you're holding anything else. I wish you the best. I wish you make a lot of money if you're holding Pepe, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, whatever you're holding. I just hope you did the correct research, and I hope you make an incredible amount of money. My Pepe portfolio has 7x since I purchased it 5 months ago from $30 to $250. That is so crazy. Let's go, Thompson. Amazing to hear. What do you think about Lunar Sea? Could this bull run out of curiosity? Lunar Sea is going to be quite interesting. I think it's going to do quite well for itself. I've said this before. I said there are three meme coin projects. There are three meme coins that I do see surviving anything that's thrown at them. As the number one meme coin that will survive, in my opinion. And again, I'm not recommending this to anybody. Number one meme coin that I see surviving anything is Doge because of Elon Musk. Two, Shiba Inu because they're actually building on Shiba Inu, and the community is quite massive on Shiba Inu, and it's been around for a very long time. It stands strong so far, and I think it's going to stand strong even going forward. And the third one is Lunar Sea, also because of the community and Lunar situation. But those are only three projects that I see in that category surviving pretty much everything that's thrown at them because they've genuinely survived everything that's thrown at them. Doge will survive because Elon Musk is always standing behind it. Shiba Inu, it could have went to zero, it never did, still standing strong. And Lunar Sea pretty much went bankrupt. Luna pretty much went bankrupt, and Lunar Sea just popped out of nowhere and still surviving. They went through some impressive speed bumps. They've survived it. So those are the only three that I've always said, they seem to be surviving anything that's thrown at them. JP, good night, Miles, and all CMF. Thank you for all the great news. JPC tomorrow about the same time as usual. What do you think of Lunar Sea? That's what I think of Lunar Sea. I think we'll survive anything that's thrown at it. My paper portfolio, let's go 7x. That's good news, honestly, Thompson. That's very good news. What about XLM ETF? Yes, XLM ETF, definitely. Thank you for that. XLM ETF, yes. ICP ETF, possibility as well. Why not? I'm thinking of buying some Lunar Sea and hoping that it gets repegged with USTC, possibility. Thank you, Miles and CMF. Good night, Mike. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thank you, Miles. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Orphan, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. Yes, we are coming up to the endings of this live show. We talked about just to do a gist of what we did talk about, we talked about the Van Eyck news today regarding his perspectives on every country should be holding some sort of crypto assets. We talked about Hong Kong and how they're going into mortgaging in terms of crypto, in terms of stablecoins and CBDCs, but still big news regarding Hong Kong doing these movements and the banks that are involved essentially regarding mortgages in the digital space and tokenization of the mortgage properties, which is again extremely bullish news. And the banks that are involved, their partnerships in the crypto space, extremely bullish news. And then we talked about also Vanguard on this live show as well, regarding how Vanguard has just applied for a specialized fund and regarding utility tokens, which was the main purpose of cryptocurrencies since day one. And then we talked about the blockchain dev team, essentially Sophia, how they're introducing a wallet for Telegram, which is massive. Telegram is going to do incredible things with Ton project. And then we talked about essentially SoftBank and how they've invested about $9 billion are going to be going. Well, they've opened up their fund, $9 billion fund, be essentially getting ready to be entering into the AI space in general. Regarding SoftBank, Japanese bank, $9 billion. They're going to go head first into high risk investments regarding AI. So there could be some blockchain ventures in there. I'll definitely keep everybody updated every night on this live show regarding any sort of blockchain events, any sort of blockchain projects they do go for regarding SoftBank with their $9 billion fund. And then we talked about Michael Saylor, his opinion on the matters of what's going on right now and how, once you enter into the ETF space, you become a mature asset and a lot more money is going to be entering into you. You're going to go from $1 billion asset to $1 trillion asset the moment you enter the ETF space. Then we also talked about Argentina and El Salvador regarding, following the footsteps of El Salvador essentially going forward, all the Latin American countries, which is good news. Then we talked about JP Morgan and JP Morgan's Nicholas, the analyst from JP Morgan, his opinion on the matter regarding ETFs. Then we talked about Bitcoin and how it's going to outperform gold from a perspective from Glassnode founders. Then we talked about essentially on tonight's live show regarding Binance and GoPax. And then we talked about Solana as well, regarding the recent votings they had on Solana. So we talked about quite a lot of things on tonight's live show, as we always do every single live show. Mixture of news every single night. So if you enjoyed this live show and you were watching it for the first time, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. You can tune into this live show every single night, and you will hear the most latest news about cryptocurrencies from around the world, cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, regulations, politics that applies to cryptocurrencies, because everything rolls around politics, and AI as well, and we partnership announcements and filings as well, PDF documentations. things that you should know about to expand your knowledge. And we do Q&As, which means if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have at all times. And join a community of amazing people called the CMF. And we also have our own Telegram group as well, which means, it's also free as well. By the way, everything I provide is completely free of source. I believe education should always remain free, so don't worry about it. I will never charge you for anything. I have never done that anyways, ever. And yeah, if you enjoy this live, drop a follow, drop a like. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe and tune into every single night and drop a like on YouTube as well. If you are watching this on X, follow me on X as well. Tune into it every single night. And join this amazing group of people inside the comment section called the CMF, which stands for Crypto Mouse Family. Now, just going to go inside the comment section, see where I was. Do you see ACH and CFX future ETFs? I do see, yes. Somewhere down the line, yes. And thanks. Have a good night, Miles. Harry, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thank you, Miles. Excellent as usual. Let's go. Happy Pisces. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thanks, Miles. XRP then. Let's go. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thanks for another brilliant live stream. Again, let's go, Thompson. See you tomorrow, brother, sometime as usual. It must be exhausting bouncing between the social media platforms and looking at all the questions. I've gotten used to it now. Another great job, Miles. I'm happy to be a part of this great group. Let's go, Scott. But I genuinely do enjoy what I do. Doing the CMF live shows every single night. I genuinely do enjoy it. Communicating with everyone inside the CMF. How's everyone been? The questions, the news. I genuinely do enjoy it. Can you check on CMC on coin called Relo Network, Rio? It's at its all-time high, $70 million. Is that a mistake on the website or what? Could be. Told, direct message me. I'll check it out. Great live, Mouse. Take care. Oh, Ray, see you tomorrow about the same time as usual. You know what? Actually, I'll check it for you right now. Told, let me see. No problem. Relo. Rio. Gotcha. Rio. RIO. Thanks, Miles. Have a good night / have a good day / night, family. Miles, 4 hours at least sleep tonight, please. Yes, Shelly, no problem. RIO. Reload network. It's sitting at £1.24. Is that the one you're talking about? Good night, Miles and CMF. Thanks for all the bullish news. Let's go freedom forever. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Great live, Miles. Thank you, sir. Good night, all. Jason, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Tool, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Family members, please do not forget to share this session. Yes, if you want, please share the session. And if you're watching us on YouTube, drop a like, drop a comment if you want. And if you're watching us on X, retweet so we can expand this live show. If I own XRP, how would an ETF benefit me in terms of price point? It will go higher and higher, ridiculously higher. Good night, Miles and all CMF. Iman, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. We've genuinely reached the ending of this live show. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. If you enjoy this live show, drop a follow, drop a like. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, see you all tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. If you're watching this for the first time as well, if you enjoyed it, tune into it every single night and get engaging inside the comment section as well. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or good night, depending on where you are around the world.